now that we seem to be getting a little bit out of the woods on the agenda, taking up and doing an organizational meeting where we might finally, after quite a few years, be able to take on some of the larger issues that we have that have always been sort of piled up at the end of the agenda. I'd love to hear your thoughts on that, all of you, in terms of willingness to have that meeting, when it might possibly take place, etc. Any thoughts?
Well, I'll go since I suggested it.
Yeah.
I don't care when it is, and if we plan it far enough ahead, everybody can,
Mhm.
you know, amend their schedules. I think there's a lot of stuff just to go over and see how everybody feels
Totally agree.
about different things.
I think I think that's a great idea. And like when it was happening regularly, what was the schedule? Was it like the fifth Tuesday? Is that how that worked?
That's exactly what it was. And then when that wasn't working out, and I believe the reason it wasn't working out was because the agenda just kind of grew.
Mm.
And we were also in the middle of COVID with Zoom and all that, those complications. So we sort of moved it over to a midday phenomenon that took place, if memory serves me, on a Thursday, sometime around, 1 o'clock in the afternoon, and we would do it over in the little mini conference room over at the town building.
So as far as the regularity of it, I mean, depending on how long we're talking, are we talking an hour or two? Seems like for the gathering, it's probably worth spending a little time.
Definitely.
But I would, yeah, I would say not more than 2 months, but preferably sometime between 4 weeks and 6 weeks regularly. I'd be.
Which is kind of where we were, last time.
And I think I would just say, if anybody has any thoughts on what we need to discuss, just send it into the office.
Well, that's the other thing. So here, of course, are the agenda items that have been lingering with us. And I would love to hear board members' opinions on what we should be prioritizing. And then just address the largest issues first and try and get those out of the way. And if there's any low hanging fruit type things, we can just kind of dispense with them. But if anyone could just send via the office, preference as to what they would like to be reviewing as a board.
Okay.
Okay. And I'm going to suggest that all this sort of takes place after we get through the hump of the July 4th stuff,
Yeah.
Also, if you could let staff know whether you'd prefer to be doing it on a Tuesday in lieu of reviewing applications like now, or whether we do it as a Thursday thing and just as, separate standalone event when we feel the need. Okay?
Mr. Chair,
Yes.
from a staff's perspective, just want to let you know, I know Kathy was reaching out to town administration to seeing if we could have availability in even the trailer. So that way it's more of a central location.
Trailer.
Yes.
Okay, I actually
As
like that
a
better.
meeting location, and those meetings are not live. They're recorded like they were back in the day when we were just Zoom only, before we were able to be live. So my point is, we've reached out to them, so this kind of helps us out what you were saying, maybe the fifth Tuesday or maybe a Thursday, but I think timeframes would be very helpful because that's what administration wanted to know. Well, what time, what, during the day, so that way they can let us know the availability.
Okay. So Carrie and Joe, do you have any comments, or would you like to just submit your preferences sort of through staff and we can get it all together that way?
Yeah, that sounds reasonable. I wonder if the whatever that place is called over there by the health department, if it's if their schedule would help us. Like if they give us 3 or 4 days to choose from, rather than us giving them all our crazy days. Why
Right.
not go from there? Find out what their availability is first.
I think that's wise. Better not to choose Thursday at 2 o'clock and hear that that's their time for conducting their Board of Health meetings or whatever.
They have SHAP on Tuesday.
Yeah.
Yeah, CPC rates there too.
Okay, that all sound good?
Yep.
Okay,
Yeah.
I'd love to hear your comments and we'll call through them and figure out what the consensus is on it. But Val, thank you for bringing it up. This has been, kind of kicking the can down the road for far too many. I was going to say months, but actually at this point, I think it's years.
Far too many years.
Yeah. Okay. Anything else that we might want to put on, from commissioner comments, or is that good for now? Okay, very good. Thank you all. Let's see, we got a few consents to review, total of 5. Anyone need to recuse? No, not me.
Not me.
So let's see, we'll pull you in, Joe, for consents, right?
Bless you.
Sure.
Motion to approve consents.
Okay, there's the motion on the table from Angus. On Angus's motion to approve the consents, Val,
Aye.
Connie,
Aye.
Joe,
Aye.
Angus,
Aye.
and I'm in favor. Thank you, folks. That's the consents. We have one consent with conditions. What do we have? Pool not visible as a condition. All right, very good. There's no discussion. Could I have a motion on that? Same board.
Motion to approve consent with conditions.
Very good. On Val's motion, Angus,
Aye.
Connie,
Aye.
Joe,
Aye.
Val,
Aye.
and I'm in favor. Okay, comments with Holly. Anything right at the moment? Holly, are you
I'm here
playing
this
Kathy
evening.
tonight? You're
Yes.
gonna be here for the evening, okay.
So if there's any questions, I guess when the application comes up, with this being old business, you know that I've tried to indicate how many reviews there are for some of these. There are multiple, some of them are only your first or second time, but if there's any, I guess, questions, let me know. I'm here. Thank you.
Great, thank you. And Holly, feel free to interject anything if you feel it's of particular importance. Okay, one old business item of June 2nd, 26, that's 28 Lily. Anybody here to rep that? It's Design Associates. That a no?
Okay.
Oh, you do? Okay, great. On Zoom. Okay. Okay, Design Associates, let's see what we have. Oh, right, of course.
No,
Okay, how's this gonna work then?
Let's go to the packet and,
Well,
oh,
but how do we hear the rep?
they can, you can hear them on Zoom, right?
That's what I said.
Oh,
So like,
Patrick, can you speak?
Yeah, can I share as well? I have a share screen.
well,
look at our screen.
our screen is not working, so, but, I believe that everyone, both on Zoom and live in the room, is able to access your file. So, you're just gonna walk us through it, okay? And first of all, Patrick, could you give us your surname, just for the record?
Yeah, it's Patrick Guthrie with
Okay,
Design.
very good.
Yep. And just so that we're on the same page, I wasn't heard on June 2nd, and so I took the opportunity to redo all of my clouds in red. And I did some graphic cleanup on the drawings. But I noticed that the comments are still from from June 2nd. So if you just let me know. What you're looking at doesn't have-
Do you mean Holly's comments?
Yep,
Yeah, that's typical. Yeah.
okay. Oh, all right, So I don't know if what you're looking at has the red clouds or the black and white.
Mr. Chair, if I may ask for you to Patrick, if you can just go ahead and share so that way everybody, even that are not in the room, can see. But may I ask the plans that you submitted for old business were the ones that were redlined or no?
I didn't see
Correct. I submitted on the 8th or so.
Okay, thank you.
All right.
it.
And everybody can see what I'm sharing?
I
Well,
can.
again, yeah, again, Patrick, so, well, I should announce your, oh, oh my goodness. Okay. I should announce, first of all, that I'm not chairing this. Angus is chairing. My apologies. Sorry, Angus. So there you are.
No worries.
We'll pause.
All right, so your board is going to be Val Oliver, Connie Patton, Joe Paul, and myself. And we need, it says no alternates. We had Abby on here before, but she won't be coming till later. Would you like to wait for her, or do you want to go forward with a 4-person board?
Well, let's go forward the 4-person board.
All right. Okay, so do you, so just go ahead and describe what you're talking about, whether it's what elevation it is, so that we can sort of follow along on our computers.
Okay. Then we'll start with the elevations, and my sheet compares the April submission with what I've dated for the 30th for today. But basically, on the east elevation, I've dropped the ridge height by 12 inches, basically reduced the knee walls and dropped the ridge by 12 inches. And then you can see from the dormers that I've changed the gable dormer, which had been on the north elevation, to shed dormers. And then if we look on the north elevation, what had been gable dormers are now shed dormers. I extended a transom above the garage doors to reduce the shingle gap between the sills of the windows and the heads of the garage door. And the owner has asked to change from white, which had originally been proposed as a trim color, which matches the house up at 28 Lily, to Nantucket gray, the Benjamin Moore color. And now I'm going to switch to the west and the south elevations. The west elevation is largely unchanged. I did shift windows up on the second floor. And then on the south elevation, took what had been two shed dormers with 2 windows and combined it into a single shed dormer with 4 windows.
Okay, is that all?
That's largely it.
All right, thank you, Patrick. Do any of the commissioners have questions for the applicant? If not, anyone's free to begin. Just a reminder, Joe, you're on it, and the rest of us are sitting in the room.
Okay.
Well, don't all jump at once.
Yeah. I can start actually.
Thanks, Joe. Go ahead.
Yeah, no problem. I appreciate the changes, the lowering of the height and the diminishing of the shingled area, the change of the dormers and so forth. I think I'm just trying to look at this a little bit closer. The meeting rail of the double hungs, I think the dormers could just get nudged up, maybe 6 inches or so. Just raise the plate height and the windows accordingly, and then you'd have an alignment of the meeting rail and the eaves. I mean, that's a little bit nitpicky, but it is one of the standards. And otherwise, I feel like you have a simple structure here, and I feel it's appropriate.
Okay.
I think the window changes on the west elevation. I like the two double hungs that you had before that matched versus what we have now, but I think that's limited visibility. Those are my comments. Thanks.
Thank you, Joe. You're actually reminding me, I do have a question for you, Patrick.
Oh, wait a
And-
minute. I'm sorry to interrupt you.
Oh, yeah.
This elevation that I'm seeing on the screen is slightly different than the one that's in our packet, actually.
Yeah, that's what I was asking about, because when I resubmitted for the
Oh.
30th with the red clouds, I cleaned up some of the graphics to get that
Yes, and your
alignment.
meeting rails line up.
Yeah.
Yeah, I have no concerns.
Okay.
I
Uh,
think they can see it, but we
I
can't.
think they're
Oh, they can
screen
see it.
sharing.
Yeah, they can.
They are, and you know what? The drawings that are on file are very close to what I'm seeing on the screen, but the clouds are all red. And the eve line matches with the meeting rail, which was one thing that I had brought up, but it's been remedied in
Mhm.
what's being shared. And the west elevation fenestration is actually much simpler. So I have no concerns, but I don't know if you guys have the benefit of accessing that file with the red clouds.
Unfortunately, we don't, and I feel uncomfortable reviewing something that I can't see.
Yeah.
I had a question. The windows in when they're the comparison side by side comparisons of the previous proposals versus the current one that is in the packet, the the window head height dimensions are not given, whereas they were originally given in the upper part of the packet of the previous proposal. And my question is, what is the height of the heads of the dormer windows facing north?
Oh, those are 6'8".
Okay, thank you.
Mhm.
So yeah, I think this is a bit of a quandary. Yeah.
Mr. Chair, that was my question is, while I respect an applicant reviewing my comments, but at the same time, because this was old business from 6/2, in my understanding, he had resubmitted to staff, but without letting staff know, if you know, my understanding, he didn't re-sign it up. So if it was re-signed up, not just emailed and also physically signed up, we would have been, oh, okay, commissioners, here's old business that has been revised.
There would have been a new packet.
There would have been a new packet. So
Oh, okay.
basically, what we have online right now is what we originally had from the 6/2 agenda that, again, this is the last one from that agenda. So that's the confusion there.
Well, since I'm sitting on this and I'm the only one that can see what's been revised, I would make a motion to hold for minor revisions. And I won't stipulate what they are, but they essentially are what Holly had described. And I believe that the bulk of them have been addressed. I know Holly mentioned flush dormers, but I could make a motion that would at least memorialize this, and then this would just need to get submitted without any further changes, and then we could all review it next time.
Thank you for that motion. Joe, on your motion,
Aye.
Connie,
Hi.
Val, and I am an I as well. Sorry about that. When you have revisions in the future, just please sign them in so that they can then become part of the new packet that the rest of the commissioners review before the meeting and during the meeting. Thank you, and I'm gonna hand it back over to you, Ray.
Thank you, Angus. Now, the first two applications for old business of 916, which are the next ones, are mine. Stephen's not here and Abby's not here. So I just texted Abby to see when she's expected to be here. I'd like to hold just so that I'm not a four-person board.
Okay.
So those would be the two on Trotz Hill. And then that brings us to 158 Matticat. What? The same? Oh, really? Okay, well, do we have?
But
any-
Ray's
wait,
not
wait,
the
Hang on, do
client.
we have anyone to rep that here or up on Zoom? On Zoom? Okay, so Craig? Craig, if you could unmute for a second, I want to explain something to you. You there? Let's see. Steve.
Hi, Craig.
Hey, how are you?
So Craig, here's your situation at the moment. Stephen is definitely not going to be here. He was chairing.
Hmm.
I don't mind chairing, as long as you're okay. Abby Camp, who is one of your members, is not present right now. So you would be down two members. However, Connie and Joe Paul are both down as associate members, alternate members that could come in, which would allow you to maintain a five-person board. So if you're uncomfortable with the makeup of that, if you are comfortable with the makeup of that particular board, we can move forward right now.
I'm fine with that. Thank you.
Okay. All right. So just to reiterate, I'll be chairing. Val is on it, Angus is on it, Connie is on it, and Joe Paul is on it. Okay?
Sounds good.
With
I'm sorry. Chair, I guess the one thing we do have that's not in the packet is some additional photographs of aerial drones that I'll share, but unfortunately, I guess the folks in the room won't be able to see
the
that.
folks in the room won't be able to see it. The two people on Zoom will, actually, the one person on your application will be able to see it. So
Right.
we'll be shooting a little bit in the dark, but let's just continue and see where it goes.
Sure.
So, this is,
So-
158 Matticat Road, move B2, Unit 1 from Jefferson,
Correct.
right?
Correct. Correct. It's the building that's as close to Matticat as possible. And since we last met as a group, the building was a two-story building that was being moved to the site, and
Right.
due to move we were unable to move the structure as a two-story, and so
Right.
it was moved as a one-story. The top section, so the upper floor and the roof is the only that's on the site. And so I have a drone shot of showing all three buildings, which are on temporary cribbing on the proposed site for scale, and their approximate locations of where the footprints are. Two of them have been approved by the board previously, so the third one is now equal in height to the other ones. So I guess I will flip through these and go to what you have in the packet. So the site plan that for this building, one thing to note, as part of placing the building on the site, the orientation of existing elevations was flipped 180 degrees
Mhm.
to take advantage of some sites. So for example, the living room was facing towards a neighbor's house, so the building was flopped. The ability to move the building on site was a once in a lifetime opportunity to move the building in place. So this application reflects what we are planning on the site. So I guess the biggest for your group was the visualization of the two-story structure. It is now a one-story structure built into the hill with a basement. So I guess from one elevation, it was a three-story elevation, is now 2 stories. And then, so on the elevations, you can see the bottom, the orientation of north and south and east have changed, but the elevations are basically a different scale. I guess that's all I had to say. I think if the board wants to discuss. I know Holly had some comments about trim and screening as well.
Okay, Craig, thank you. And it looks like, given the topography, one thing that you didn't mention, but I believe you added, was the vegetation
Correct.
between your moved building and Nantucket Road, correct?
Correct. Yes,
Because that's the low side of the building.
correct.
Oh. That's,
Oh, muted.
there's a guy that sounds just like me coming out of her computer.
AI is progressing amazingly.
Holly said if we join on Zoom.
So we might have to split it from here.
You know what? I'm trying to go back and take a look at the plan.
Right.
Where's the little snake?
Oh, it's the most forward one, I believe, is the one we're reviewing.
Hey, IT guys. Yeah. Can we just cut her sound? Because her mic is picking me up.
Whose mic is it? There's an open mic right here.
I think it's Val's.
No, it's.
On the iPad.
You have to kill your volume on your.
Yeah, how does she do that?
You mind if I touch it? I'd like to interrupt the meeting.
No, well, this is actually a huge benefit to us. Okay. So, boy, do I love that. Okay, thanks so much. And she can turn that back on, right? Let's bring it back on. Okay, great. We're back in
And
action.
this is gonna show your Zoom meeting and your slides. We hope.
Okay, great.
Thank you.
Thank you very much. Okay, so it seems like this would be, are we back?
You've
Oh.
been there the whole time.
Sorry, she needs it muted again.
I'm gonna get off of it. We can see it on there,
Oh,
right?
not a bad idea. Yeah, that. Okay. Okay. So the net benefit here is that it's gone from a 1 or a 2 to 3 story structure to a 1 to 2 story structure. Comments from the board. Oh, Holly, why don't you go first?
Thank you, Mr. Chair. So, as you all remember, you all reviewed this and had concerns. But obviously everybody appreciates these being moved. My overall concern was at the proposed south elevation, which is 16'9" to the ridge, would be more appropriate to address the board's concerns facing Nantucket Road and not internal. Also, I didn't see any photos showing the vegetated screening from the north and east elevations to show what exactly will be seen. And Craig, I don't know if you were showing that, my apologies.
Yeah.
Also, trim sash door colors should not be white. If so, I think additional vegetation to supplement the existing should be provided, understanding that the existing trim from this existing structure that's being moved is white, but any way to mitigate its change. So that was my main.
Is that okay?
Okay, Holly, thank you very much. Who would like to begin the discussion?
Well, I will.
Yes.
I've been by there several times. Are these structures placed approximately where they're gonna go?
Val, yes, the buildings are all on the high side of the hill. Where they're sitting now, they will be placed on foundations on the lower side. The foundation will be set So the buildings where they sit now will be actually lower on a new foundation. They're up
Yeah.
on higher cribbing.
Well, so I was gonna say kudos, because I didn't know they weren't sitting on foundations yet, and you can just see the roof. So that's really good.
It looks like they're probably gonna drop 3 or 4 feet, Craig. Is that
Yes.
ac-
Yeah.
Okay. All
I
right.
don't have any concerns.
Okay. Thank you, Val. Who's next?
I can go.
Angus.
So I went through, I've been by a few times, each time this was coming up, and I had uh, a little bit of concern because they were up. I could see them, but I was looking for the poles. But then I read closer in the notes that because we were losing the first floor, we were probably not going to be seeing the green poles of the vegetation and the height poles. So yeah, with the limited visibility that there was and the idea of these dropping down, so I did go up there and viewed it from the other side where I actually could see the cribbing. How low is it dropping? Like right now it's way up in the air. Is it dropping like the highest part from the ground? What will that be like from the grade to the shingle line?
Well, we haven't made the final grading, but since we're building into the hill, Angus, and pushing the building towards the hill right now, I would say it'll be a little lower from what you see from today. I think Ray mentioned 3 feet. I would say it's between 3 feet and 2 feet, because um, as it moves down, we're going to drop it a little bit, but it won't be significantly different than it is today.
Mm-hmm. Thank you for that, Craig. Yeah, I agree with Val. With the trim, the color that it's going to be, and the hip roofs and dropping a story, um, I I don't have any concerns. Thank you.
Angus, thank you. Let us see here.
I agree with Val and Angus. I drove by as well, and I have no concerns given the limited visibility and the reduced height. Joe speaking.
Yep, got it, Joe. All right, thank you. I think it's to you, Connie.
And I also have no concerns. Thank you.
All right, I think we have liftoff here. So would somebody, because I'm fine with it, would somebody like to make a motion? Holly.
Before you make your motion, if this is an additional, photo, which I believe it is, it's not included in your packet. If you just ask to have that included within the
Oh.
approval.
That's fine. Yeah,
Thank you.
okay, thanks.
Motion to approve as submitted with any additional information, photographs that were presented in this meeting that are not currently in the packet.
Great. Thanks for the motion, Angus. On Angus's motion, Val,
Aye.
Connie,
Aye.
Joe,
Aye.
Angus,
Aye.
and I'm in favor. There you go.
Thank you
Thanks
all.
for working with us. We appreciate it. How about 112 Wall Winnie?
How about 112 while we're in it? Chip Webster here. How you doing?
Chip Webster, okay. Let's see, Chip, I haven't looked at your board yet, but I'm chair. Val's here, Angus here, Carrie is here, Joe is here. So you lucked out. You got everybody.
There you go. And if I could share the screen, I will walk through or what we currently have.
Okay, sounds
All
fine.
right.
Mhm.
Go for it, Chip.
By the way, everyone, this is the Move On application. There are several applications. We're reviewing the Move On.
That's right. And it is it's queuing up right now. Where is 1 second, please. Brief, there we go. All righty, Chip Webster on behalf of the applicant for the next three applications, which are a move on and then two moves that are on the property. I'll start with a real quick brief recap of the history of this. More than a year ago, when this came before the board, this house was deemed to be historically significant, and it was approved for a move only and not a demo when we first came in. Subsequently to that, we did apply for and receive approval to a move to 4 Pocomo, but then that didn't work out. And we're now before you to request for approval to move it to 112 Wauwinet. At the last meeting of the board, there was full support of the move. Val said that she would like to save it. Carrie mentioned that it could have easily has been built here as Pocomo. Angus felt that the vicinity was appropriate. Appreciated the low profile in the harbor. Joe mentioned that it was part of the historic fabric of Nantucket, and Ray said that it was an appropriate location. However, there was a request for additional information before the board felt comfortable moving forward. There were three primary questions. One was how would Concom handle this? Maybe something referencing that. One was some topography showing the existing grade and how the grade might be changed to accommodate the house. And the third was more explanation on how the house would be moved and reassembled. And it was agreed upon by the board that annotated photos would be significant to answer these questions, with the idea that a full detailed as-built would be done upon approval of the existing structure. So in reverse order, I'm starting with what you see on the screen. This is a letter from our firm confirming what I had mentioned at the last meeting, that the intent since it is a kit house, is to disassemble it back to the original kit, move it to the new site, and then reassemble it as it was. Now, there's several benefits to this, not the least of which this is going to create absolute minimum disturbance to any vegetation along any of the roads, along Pocomo Road or Winnet Road in the move, which is a huge benefit. I'm going to scroll down a little bit. So we engaged Art Gasparo, whom I'm sure all of you know, probably one of those well-respected surveyors in the island when it comes to issues of coastal banks and so forth. And he prepared this plan based on his experience with the Concom. It has not been reviewed by Concom, but he has certainly represented quite a bit before them. And you can see on this site plan, which also has topography information and the buffer zone information, his recommended location, which is the solid red line, which is a few feet off of our original location, which is the dotted line. And it was primarily to avoid an existing well and to get it a little further back from the coastal bank. So Art prepared this, and this is part of the submittal. There's the house as a reminder. Now, as far as the questions on topography and so forth, the board had mentioned that annotated photographs would work. So based on the topography information provided by Art Gasparo, you can see on the right-hand side that there would be a slight change of the grade at the front side of the moved house, and that's because the entry is about 3 feet above the rear of the house. So it would come up about 1.5 feet at the corners and then sort of swell up to the entry door, and it would swell back down on all sides. That's indicated in that right-hand photo. On the left-hand photo, you can see in red the house, pretty far back from Winnet Road, some existing hedges that will be replaced that are currently there, and the proposed relocation of the existing house, and how collectively the vegetation in the existing house also mitigate the view of the location of the house to be moved. So I just wanted to point out that is also mitigated. Shoot, let me see what else there is. Okay, here is, this is where the existing house is, and it shows how the grade line at that location would change slightly from 0 up to about 1.5 feet when the new house is there. So with that, I turn it over to the board for questions and comments. Thank you very much.
Okay, thanks. First off, do any of the board members have any questions for Chip on the application? Val, go ahead.
I thought we wanted drawings because we don't know with regard to the grade. For instance, Chip, what the back is gonna look like. Right now, the house where it sits has sort of a walkout situation. What's gonna happen here on the back of this? I'm just not, I feel like I need more information.
So through the chair, can I respond to the question?
Very briefly, Chip.
Yeah, so
very-
there's no proposed changes in grade at all, other than what's indicated on this drawing. So the distance to that walkout from the front, when combined with the slight existing slope that's on the site, plus the 3 feet indicated in this photo, is all of the grade change that will have to happen anywhere. So 0 change on the water side.
Well, let me just stay on that for a
Maybe
moment.
right,
So if I
is what
look at the,
trying to
if
say.
I look at the north elevation in its current location in Pocomo, to Val's point, we see a lower level, right? Are you saying that the site conditions in Wallwinnet are such that that lower level would appear to be exactly the way it is in Pocomo?
Correct. Yeah. So
Okay.
yes.
All right, fair enough. Arthur, I know you want to speak on this.
Yes, thank you very much, Mr. Chair. Attorney Arthur Reed, for the record, representing Lydia Denny Palmer LLC, the owner of the property adjacent to this at 110 Wallwinnet Road. And I have to say that this house is, to my eye, about as inconsistent with traditional Nantucket architecture as anything that I can imagine. It has existed, obviously, for a long period of time, over 50 years, in its present location at the end of Wallwinnet Road, in a rural location on a much larger lot, and it sort of has settled into the landscape at that location. Moving it to this proposed location in Wallwinnet Village, where we have smaller lots, much more traditional architecture. You know, there are other modern houses out at the end of Pocomo Point. You don't have anything like that in Wallwinnet. I think is completely inappropriate. I think that if you allow the move of this structure to this location, you're going to have people who drive out to Wallwinnet, go to the Wallwinnet, or who go out to Great Point, taking a look at this and saying, what on earth was the HDC thinking of when they allowed this house to be moved to this location? It is going to stand out like a sore thumb. It's completely inappropriate, and I believe that the move should be disapproved. If they can find another location to place it where it would have marginal visibility, that might be a different situation, but it's going to be highly visible. It's a large house. It's going to be very obvious to anyone driving out Wallwinnet Road, and I think you should disapprove this application. Thank you.
Okay, thank you, Arthur. I should ask, is there anyone else either in the audience or on Zoom that would like to speak on this before I put it over to the board? Looking, anything up there? Over there, I go. Okay, all right, board members, just as a refresher here, myself, Val, Angus, Carrie, Joe.
Mr. Chair. before the
Yes.
Board speaks. Can I provide a couple of comments?
Yes, please.
Thank you, Mr.
Thank you.
Chair. So for the record, this is a 1970 Acorn deck house. It's a mid-century modern, and it was started by some architects, which you all have that information in your packet, company in 1959. This is an important structure, and it does, yes, it was constructed when basically the HDC was enacted, but prior to the entire island being a local district. It was a national district at that time. And it does represent, it's part of our contributing qualities, if you will. I did want to make a comment that the board requested drawings, cross sections, topo. I see the plan by Arcasparo, and a comprehensive disassembly reconstruction plan. Understanding that this structure was in fact one of the early prefabs. I would say not the earliest. We know the Radford Kit Bungalow on Brant Point. Those were one of the earlier kit houses, but it's a kit house nonetheless. I don't believe that the note that was provided in the application really addresses the concerns of the commission, and to note what Val said. There should be as-built there should be photographs of the existing retaining walls on site. That wasn't included. But overall, appreciate saving the dwelling. That is an important example of a time of creative experimental time for artists, architects, and builders who sought to build modern houses that took cues from Nantucket's history and sense of place. And that's per Mary Bergman, former executive director of MPT. Thank you very much.
Yeah, thanks. Okay, with that, I'd love to hear comments from the board.
I still think I need more topographic information and exactly how it's going to look sitting here. We have the buffer zone lines, but we don't have any topography.
We do not.
And yeah.
It's clear.
Yeah, I think a north elevation showing what, well, I was going to limit it to the north, but I think it's going to be helpful to have all elevations drawn of the building and how it sits on the lot, along with a east-west section through the lot showing sort of the low and high side of the hill and how the building would sit on the lot, and then, you know, continuing towards Wilwinnett Road to see what sort of screening there would be. I guess that's what I was hoping for with the section of the site that we had requested.
Okay, more information.
More information.
Yep. Okay, thank you, Angus. We have Carrie and Joe.
On the, I'll go on the, on Art's plan, you can see the spot elevations from north to south. It's 10.1 at the front corner, 10.9 at the north, what is that, east corner. The northwest corner, it's about 10.8, then it goes to 11 in the middle, and then 10.4. So topographically, we can see that where this building is sitting is going to be quite flat. The question, I heard the answer that the foundation is going to be the same here as it is on the Pocomo site, but are you really doing that, Chip? Are you exposing the foundation on that, what is it, the west side, the rear of the building, or is it sitting flat? I'm a little bit confused because the topo spot, you know, the spots on the topo plan of Arts show relatively flat. Whereas if you're exposing the foundation like it is on the existing property, you would see like a -8 or something at the rear. I'm not all that concerned necessarily, because if this is the way it's going to be on that property, we know what it looks like. It exists, so we know exactly what it looks like. There's really not going to be much mystery. And I do think it's appropriate in this location, as I said last time, and it's mitigated with another building in front of it. So you're not even going to see the whole thing. But I do agree that we need to know the details for sure. And the sections, I don't feel like I need the plan so much as I do want to know exactly what the sections are doing with the topo. Because I still don't understand those spot. Yeah, the information's just not on the plan.
Mhm. Okay, Carrie, thank you. Joe.
Yeah, I would agree with my fellow board members, and I think the one comment I would add to that is that the house, this house, probably more than any house, the foundation plan is critical because of the amount of fenestration that is above the grade line and below the first floor. And, it makes the house float visually above the landscape. So I think it is critical to have the floor plan so that we can see that there's windows in here and we're not looking at 24 inches of exposed foundation on the front. But by the way, the orientation of the pictures, like if we were to just go by pictures, this north, south, east, west, that doesn't align with the proposed orientation. So that makes it confusing. And thinking ahead to whoever goes out there to sign off on this, it's going to be easy if they've got drawings that are labeled that match the coordinates of the floor plan. And I just think we just want to ensure that the building, the mass of the building floating above the ground plane is important. And I don't think that it needs to necessarily slope like it currently does, but I think it needs to hover above the ground like it does in this south picture that we're looking at. And I don't disagree with Arthur's comment that it's completely unusual and furthest maybe from traditional Nantucket architecture. And in my opinion, that and Holly's narrative and the history of this kind of supports the significance of it. The fact that it is different. So I think it's appropriate in this location. And with more information, I would support the move. Thank you.
Okay, Joe, thanks. Well, so the thing I'm going to just underscore the need for more topo information, because if I look at the elevation, and by the way, Chip, please, you have the cardinal points as they are in Pocomo, but we also need to know what those same cardinal points are, like north elevation in Pocomo equals west elevation in Walwinet. Now to that, I'm seeing at least 4 feet of grade change from Pocomo south side, also known as the front, to Pocomo north side, also known as the back. And then when I go to the topo, to Art's topo, which is not really a topo, it's just spot grades, they're essentially the same all the way across the lot. So something needs to give.
Would there be retaining?
Well, if there were, it should be on the plan, so that, I think this is something that every member of the board sitting on this has mentioned, and I think for good reason.
So-
Perhaps all right, so.
Mr. Chair, could I comment when it's okay?
Yeah, okay. Well, look, so you have this bold green line that says grade increases 3 feet at new front door. So essentially what you're doing is you're mounding the site on the east side to be able to get in the front door. I'd just love to see section east-west through the site. I'm not the only person on the board that feels that way. And to see sort of from Walwinet Road back to, the wetland, what the topography is, because it looks like it's the way that you're reconciling is by filling the site. So, Chip, what would you like to say briefly?
Just two things real quickly. So what you just described is correct. As indicated by the green line, that the intent is to swell it up about 3 feet at the door. And then as you can see from the photograph on the house, it's about 1.5 feet from that sidewalk to the floor level inside the house. So the aggregate of that makes up that you were correct. It's about 4 feet in total. So all of those observations you made were correct and so forth. So that was just one point. So the second was that When at the last meeting, I had mentioned that to do as-built of this is a big expense for the client, and I asked if annotated photos would be okay. And it was my understanding that annotated photos would suffice with the condition that there would be a full as-built upon the approval. I'm just wondering if it might be okay. Say, I just don't want to incur that expense of that on my client if they're not going to get an approval. Would it be possible to consider an approval subject to that additional information?
Let's see. I think that there were a variety of opinions about how much you needed to document the house. The photographs are, it's fairly evident from the photographs what's going on here. Angus had mentioned seeing the west elevation because of the walkout. My issue is not so much seeing the building, but seeing the sections through the site to see the grade changes.
And how those will be handled.
Right.
And do we need so many grade changes considering the foundation will be brand new? And can that be brought down a little bit? Does there have to be so much exposed foundation? The main house is really the important part. The foundation is kind of secondary, at least in my mind, in terms of saving it all. I wonder if that will help it.
Interesting point, Carrie. So on the front of the house, you'll notice that underneath of that foundation has some windows.
Right.
Whether those are important to the client right at the moment, I mean, it would be great to get it sort of further down the ground, although I do agree that with Joe on the point of this, you know, the wooden part of this house is sort of visually supposed to float above the grade.
Yes, the cantilever is
We
important.
don't want to completely ruin that whole
Yep.
effect.
Yep.
Okay, hopefully, Chip, that gives you enough guidance as to, you know, what we're looking for and what we hope to see the next time we see you.
May I
Holly?
offer some idea to Chip?
Yeah,
So Chip, I don't know if you noticed in my staff comments, there was an email from 2024 to Mary Bergman, the former executive director of MPT. And it was from the actual Acorn Deck House Company. And they were confirming that they do have, he said, I searched our archive and the Deck House did design and pre-manufacture the home at 81 Pocomo Road in Nantucket. So my point is here, they may have that information on file that might be beneficial to your application.
be fabulous. Yeah.
The original.
Chip, you might want to get that information.
Yes, thank you.
Okay, so are we going to hold for some more information?
So moved.
Okay, Angus has made a motion to hold for more information. On that motion, Val,
Aye.
Carrie,
Aye.
Joe,
Aye.
Angus,
Aye.
and I'm in favor. Thank you, everyone.
And
Oh,
real
and,
quick,
and the other applications will track. Okay,
that's what
Chip?
I was going to ask. Yes. All right. Thank you.
Yeah, thanks. All right, there's that. Now that brings us to 44 Nantucket. Okay, we have another issue. This, Angus, this is you. And Abby's still out. We have Val. First of all, I don't know yet. Is there a rep? Okay. So you got Val.
We have
Coney.
Tom online.
1, 2, 3. It would be a short board.
So,
4-person board.
yeah. So, Tom, did you hear all that?
Yes, I did.
So we're missing Abby this evening. So are you comfortable with moving forward with a 4-person board?
I'm comfortable. Yes. No, yes, I think we're comfortable moving ahead.
Okay, well, please go ahead and present. Your board is myself, Val Oliver, Connie Patton, and Joe Paul.
Thank you. Can you see my share?
Mhm.
Okay, so after our last meeting, we went back and we addressed, we think, the changes that the board has suggested we look at. We have reduced the size of windows all around on the south and west side. We have added a shed roof to the bay that projects on the west side. And importantly, we have redesigned the proposed south porch to a more, I guess I would say, more innocuous design with a roof with a with the center projection with shingled parapet walls and a small open railing in the middle. And you can see that in this elevation right here. So again, on this view, all the windows have been reduced in size. You can see on the left that the projecting west bay we've added a shed roof. And then you can see in the middle section, the porch. We originally had an open picket all the way across. We have pulled the porch out slightly to get a wood roof with a wood parapet and a much smaller rail section in the middle of the roof. And then on the west side, we would like to present the board with options for the connecting. When I realized that this glass connector, some members were okay with it and some members were questioning the amount of glass that we had. So we have some options for the board to consider. I think one of the things that's important I'd like you to consider is that in this view, we're only showing the landscape and it's right up against the house. But when we look at the actual landscaping, very little of that bay is visible because the plants, you can see that in this view, the plants obscure the lower section of glass along that connector. And we propose that this design is the one that we would prefer because it actually gives the client what they're looking for in terms of the aesthetic and the experience of going through the house and getting to experience the garden on the west side and the garden on the courtyard side. For purposes of just giving you the context, I'm sure you're all familiar with it, but we wanted to just run quickly by you some of the adjacent properties or nearby properties on Nantucket. You can see that very close, like for instance, 42, we believe we have less glass than 42, and we have calculated that we are under the building with Nantucket in mind suggested percentage of glass on every section of the building except for the glass connector. We do have a couple of options to show you if the board would like to entertain them on the glass connector. Excuse me for 1 second, wrong screen. We have the original one, which is right here. We looked at the idea of reducing the glass by bringing the sill height up, having a single door with a panel to the north, and then 5 more or less equal pieces of glass with a door in the middle with a panel. And I think that we think the original option is better. And actually, we think that option C, when viewed from the side road, is going to look the same as our proposed option because the plant material will obscure the lower sectional panels along the west side. Also, we are keeping all the existing thicket along Miles Standish. So this rendering only shows the proposed new plant material, which is happening inside of the existing thicket, which is, you can see in these 2 photographs, quite dense. This is the view looking up Miles Standish, and this is the view looking towards Nantucket with the existing house. So all this plant material will be staying. The only change is we will have a curb cut, but we are going from 4 curb cuts down to 2. So I hope that will curry some favor with the board. So I'm happy to try and answer any questions if the commission has specific questions.
Thank you, Tom. Does anyone have questions for, go ahead,
I
Val.
do. I went out there today and I did appreciate all the vegetation that's there. So I hope it can remain. My concern is that it's not on your property. It's on the town way property. So I don't know how that plays out. Is there a possibility that can ever go away because they do something with the road or?
Well, can I try and answer that? I mean,
Yeah.
I think we will be seeing a landscape submission by the Stimson Studio, which is what these renderings are based on. So we're kind of viewing this new layer of plant materials and insurance policy against the change on Miles Standish. All these plants will be inbound of that existing thicket. So even if the thicket were to be cut down in some way, we think that these new plants will, at a minimum, give us the screening you see from that existing thicket, and we think we'll actually get more privacy than is currently there. There's a hedge proposed as the most inboard row of plants, and it's going to actually offer more privacy, more year-round privacy than the thicket that's there right now.
I got nothing because it doesn't look like it's gonna fit, but that's okay. My only concern with this whole thing has been the connector. So screening that in perpetuity would be important.
Thank you, Val.
I have a question too, since that's how you started, Angus.
Go ahead, Joe.
It's regarding the connector, and the perspective that we're on is good to stay on. Do all of the connector options have a pitched roof?
Yes.
Okay. I have no concerns. With the caveat that the screening that you're describing is there along this side, but otherwise I have no concerns with the architecture. Thank you.
Thanks, Joe. Connie.
I also have no concerns with the architecture, and as far as the connector, as long as it's screened, I would go with with what you had proposed, I guess what you would like to have done.
Oh yeah, option C, I think he said.
Yes.
Option C is the, I apologize, I'll bring the options up again for you. Option C was not the suggested one. I believe we want to stay with our original. Option C is the center door with the raised windows.
So is it option A?
Tom, just to clarify, we're looking at 3 elevation details. So the one that you're proposing, is that the one above the 2
Yes.
circle?
Yes, the one above, the one that does
enclosed
not
in
have a
red.
red,
Okay.
does not have a
And-
red box.
Thank you, Tom. So back to you, Connie. Which one were you promoting?
So not either of them proposed in red.
The
Right.
one that is above,
Right, as long
the
as,
first one.
as long as we have something that's gonna screen, I think it's gonna be a matter of, it would be the same. And honestly, I don't think the door is appropriate where either door in the center or on the side. So that's what I would go with screening.
Thank you, Connie.
Thank you.
Yeah, due to the amount of screening and this being on the back, and not a heavily traveled lane, I'm comfortable with this, with the screening in perpetuity. So would someone like to make a motion?
I'd make that motion to approve as submitted with screening along the west elevation along Miles Standish in perpetuity.
Thank you, Joe. On Joe's motion, Val.
Aye.
Connie,
Aye.
Joe on your motion,
Aye.
and I am an aye as well. Thank you, Tom.
Thank you.
Okay. We are now on to old business of June 30th, 26. First item of which is 14 Bassett Road. Landscape. What's up?
I'm not on the next 5.
You poor kid. Okay, Ethan, hi. Your board here, myself, Angus, Abby, who's not present. Carrie, Joe, and you can take on Connie. She was an alternate. So there's your 5-person board.
And I think online should be the landscape designers, architects.
Okay, fine. Oh, it's Kira. Hi, Kira.
Hello there, can you hear me? Yeah,
Oh, is that you, Kira?
that's me. Hi, how's everyone
Hi,
doing?
how's it going?
Good.
So you want to just walk us through, it's been a while, so just let us know where we are.
Perfect. Yes. Well, thank you, board members. I'm Kira. I'm with Hollander Design Landscape Architects. So let me share my screen actually, so we can see that. Can everyone see my screen okay?
Yep.
Okay, perfect. So we reviewed your comments from the last meeting and we revised our proposal in response. These changes that we've made include eliminating all permanent fence segments, pulling the fence in to be a minimum of 5 feet off the property line, adjusting the temporary gate locations and orientations, and we're proposing it be a simple black mesh construction fence and gate that's intended to be as visually recessive as possible. The purpose of this fence is to provide a secure enclosure for the construction of the site and the buildings, and also to allow the new landscape planting to become established. The intent isn't to create a long-term barrier, but simply to protect the site and provide the planting with the opportunity to become established before the fence is removed. The landscape plan includes a significant investment in native trees and shrubs that are more vulnerable during their establishment period. While the owners may evaluate the need for a, did my screen sharing stop?
It stopped, yeah.
Okay, let me try again. I was saying that while the owners may evaluate the need for a permanent fence at some point in the future, that's not part of this application. We understand that any permanent fence would require a separate application and we would return to the commission for its review and approval. Today's request is limited exclusively to this temporary fence and gate. Ultimately, the goal is to enhance and restore the property with a healthy native landscape. Appreciate the commission's time and guidance, and I'd be happy to answer any questions.
Also, I guess you held it for a site visit if you went out there and looked at it?
Yeah.
Okay.
It was a view. And I have an additional question now that we're getting down into the weeds, so to speak. Is there a sunset date on this? It's a temporary fence. What kind of time frame are we looking at?
So we were going to say until the end of construction, but if we want to set a specific time, I would think it would be about 3 years, would be kind of until the completion of construction.
3 years.
Mhm.
3 years. Okay, well, that's
That's definitely. improvement than-
3
there's
years is like 12
Yeah.
lifetimes if you're an ant.
Nothing more permanent than the
So,
temporary.
So construction
wow,
time
okay,
would start
3
in-
years,
Ants would
there
be
may
allowed
be
to
some
pass through it.
pushback on that, but
Okay.
it sounds like the temporary fence has gotten to be more benign, but, are there any other questions before we deliberate?
The sunset question was
Mhm.
going to
Yeah.
be the question, and 3 years sounds like a long time. Yeah.
Okay, we'd be amenable to whatever the board would be amenable with.
Well, and the other thing, Kira, that we could potentially do just to sort of like protect ourselves is, let's just say, give it like a 1 year, right? And
Yeah.
then if it's all looking fine and we're not getting any complaints or anything, then we can, grant an extension on it.
Mhm.
That, rather than give you 3 years at the outset, which is, a long time, if the fence is objectionable and highly visible and we're getting complaints on it. So that's just
Mhm.
one way to skin this cat. All right, anything else before we deliberate?
Yeah, just to make a point too, as well on timeline, the construction on this isn't going to start until the fall. So we would be getting this fence in ahead of construction time. So that would be the only thing that I'd want to be cognizant of. That maybe at the start of construction, or maybe it's 18 months if we're going to do it that way. That would be the only point that I would make.
Okay, let's see where it goes, Kira. Thanks. Anything else for you?
No.
Friend? Okay, board members. Do we want to recap? Myself, Angus, Carrie, Joe, Connie.
I'm
I'll
happy
go.
to start.
Oops, sorry.
Go ahead, Gary.
I was just gonna say, I appreciate bringing it in a little bit from the property lines and, it looks a little bit more organic on the plan. Who knows if that'll be the reality, but I appreciate that. And I would be open to a year plus the, from here until you get your building permit when construction starts a year from then. So you can do it, up until then and then a year after, and then we can revisit. Because by then we'll be able to see it.
Okay. That's it, Carrie?
Yeah, thanks.
Great, thank you. Who's next? Oh, Angus, you were about to go, sorry.
Thank you. So a year sounds like a long time for something that's temporary, just like straight up. So I'm uncomfortable signing on to anything other than that. And I don't think there's anything, if it's okay for a year and there, as Ray has mentioned, there aren't complaints and it seems like it's working out okay to go ahead and extend it for another year after that year's expiring. And part of the reason for letting something that we would not necessarily approve to begin with being temporary for a year is just the lack of visibility. This is like you have to make a point of coming to this property. And so I don't think there's going to be a lot of exposure here. And so I'm comfortable with a year, but not anymore. Thank you.
Okay. Thank you, Angus. Who's next?
I can go.
Connie.
So I have to agree with Angus. If this is a temporary fix, a year sounds like a long time for temporary. And then if, as stated, when it comes time to, we can reevaluate and do an extension. But I think to start with a year would be appropriate. Thank you.
Thank you. Connie, Joe?
Yeah, my only, well, I agree with I think it makes sense to do the year and then the extension. But I think, construction is taking 18 months anyway. And if we're starting in the fall, it's an easy 2 years just during construction. But revisiting it 12 months from now makes sense. I guess my only concern is the orange line, which shows like it's in from the property line everywhere except for that one little point along the road. It gets kind of close. I think we should stipulate a distance from the property line because I think we'd like to avoid defining the property line on site, then clearing it all, and then putting in this temporary fence. I think that we should probably stipulate that it should be, at least 10 feet in from the property line. It looks like the south end of this garden that's there might get kind of close, but I think if we put a stipulation like that in there, it gives us a little bit of insurance that the property's not being cleared to the property edges. I think that's my only concern. And and what will some of this temporary fence evolve into a another application for a permanent fence. That's one of the reasons why I mention it, that I'm assuming that there's going to be an effort to create some kind of enclosure, but we're just looking at the first wave of that. So I think it's important that we maintain vegetation.
Oh, yeah, that's it.
Kara, did you want to respond to that?
I just had I just had a question for Joe because he was
Oh,
talking
Carrie.
mostly.
Yeah, go
Yeah,
ahead.
sorry, I was talking, he was talking mostly about the fence, but then at the very last minute, he said stipulation of keeping the vegetation on the roadside, keeping what's there, and then eventually they'll add into it. But yeah, I like that. Keep, retain the natural vegetation, and then we can stipulate the distance, minimum distance.
Okay. Carrie, thank you. It looks like the only really tight spot is the one that Joe identified right at that interior corner where it looks like for whatever reason they need to have their vegetation inside of it, and therefore the fence gets pushed a little closer to the road than elsewhere. Kira, are you okay with some kind of stipulation that the vegetation next between the road and the property will be maintained?
Yeah, that is our intent, is to
I figured. The other thing, it's interesting, the fact that you ask for 3 years is really tipping your hand, because now we can extort you into doing like the best possible 1 year, so that we're going to love it so much that we're going to give you 2 more years.
There we go. Yeah. And I think like someone else on the board had mentioned that, yeah, it's just the process of construction. If it's going to take 18 months, we figured it would be 6 months ahead of time before the fence is.
Okay,
So
so
it usually takes, yeah. But we'd be, sorry.
Sorry, Kira?
I'd say we'd be amenable to a certain distance as well. We held it at 5 feet off the property line, just because the intent is to kind of keep our new planting the inside of the fences to allow it to establish. And we do want to enhance that buffer around the property. So if it's 10 feet in, the planting will have to be 10 feet off the property line. So that was kind of the reasoning there, is to make it 5 feet.
Well, our thing is that we want more vegetation on the public side versus, interior. So that's why 10 feet would be better for us.
I agree with that. And at the end of the day, when the project is finished, presumably we'll have reviewed a landscape plan that will include a buffer that's at least 15 or so feet along the border. So, yeah, I think all that probably wants to be in your mind as you're planning your planting.
Yeah, and if you don't mind, I just wanted to make a comment about the 10 feet as well. I'm going to assume that this will evolve into a permanent fence, and probably some associated gates as well. And we would never approve it at 5 feet. So if the temporary fence is at 10 feet, then we know where a potential permanent fence is going to end up, and then however you manipulate the site will already have that in mind. I think it'll probably just be better to start there.
Good point.
Okay, so it sounds to me like we could all agree to a 1-year sunset that would activate when the building permit is issued. 1 year from the date of the issuance of the building permit, and that we would have a minimum of 10 feet of separation from the or 10 feet of distance inward of the property line. Does that sound kind of more or less too?
With vegetation on the exterior of it.
Yeah. Can you make
that would be my motion?
Okay, so that was Angus's motion. On Angus's motion, let's see. Carrie?
Aye.
Joe?
Aye.
Connie?
Aye.
Angus?
Aye.
And I'm in favor. Okay, thank you, guys.
Thank you.
We'll see you in another year from your building.
Exactly. Thank you, guys. Appreciate it.
Okay, now we're on, did I just, oh, Abby has just joined us. Hallelujah. Give us some good news, Abby. So how do you do? Really? Yeah. All right. At some point, I'd like to return to my applications at the beginning, but we don't need to do that necessarily now. A lot of people are waiting. So, how about 54 Lovers Lane? Terry, are you gonna rep that or
I don't think Luke was prepared, but I don't even know what he's doing. Oh, garage. Oh, did he? I guess I will. He's not here. Yeah, I will represent it. It was some window changes, I believe.
all right, so listen, let's
I
move
can't
forward with
share, though.
54. Sorry?
I can't share the screen, though. We'll have to put it till next week.
Is it safe to say that everybody has their own little machines working right now?
Mine is not. I've got the error.
It's not,
Yeah, got that
it's
crazy.
not working.
I know.
Did you do the refresh?
Yeah, I did.
Okay.
I tried.
Sometimes just I close down the app and then I open it
Yeah.
back up. Okay, so the board on 54 Lovers, myself, Angus, Abby, who's just joined us, Connie, and Joe. Okay, Carrie, if
Yeah.
you're able.
Can you hear me?
Yep.
Yeah. So, so you're all looking at it. Okay.
Mhm.
I'm trying to find it now myself because I was relying on that. Well, I think the original problem was that the windows on the dormers, this is a new garage with an existing dwelling, and the garage is a bit taller than the house, I think quite a bit. And the windows in the dormer were quite large, and the dormer itself. So I think Luke reduced it down. And I think that's all I got.
Okay. Now all of a sudden mine's not working.
Yeah.
Right, does anybody want to use mine? I'm not on any of these.
Well, I'd love to get this fixed.
Oh,
Which part?
Oh,
We're on 54 Lovers Lane.
I gotta, oh, there we go.
And for those of you who can see the screen. Sorry, Carrie, can you just recap what's
Yeah,
revised?
yep, sorry. He set the dormers back further and reduced the size of the windows. If you go to the other elevations, which is the one facing the street, is the west. And he raised the dormer up on the roof, like he reduced it, and the windows as well. I think that's pretty much the only elevation you'll see, but he changed, I guess that's it. What did he do? Oh, he did the overhangs to minimize the height as well. He changed the roof pitch, all to sort of minimize the impact of that roof, because the existing house is a low slope, and this used to be a 12. Now it's
He's trying to print.
a 10. But
It's
I'm laughing because
okay. Okay, I'm gonna reiterate board and see if anybody has any opinions on this yet. Myself, Angus, Abby, Connie, Joe. Anybody ready?
I am. I reviewed this before
I
and I
can
put a little check mark next to it. So that means I appreciate the changes. Yeah, I think the lowering of the eave, and because the house had, I think there were better pictures of the house before, but it's a shallow pitch as Carrie described, with a low eave and a porch. And I do think that the overhang with the brackets and the revisions that have been made do visually ground this, and flattening the pitch a little bit. All of those things have helped. So I have no concerns. Thank you.
Okay, Joe, thank you very much for that. Anybody else ready?
I can go.
Angus?
I agree with Joe. I was happy with the revisions and, yeah, just bringing down that eave and pushing back the dormer, all that, works. So I'm fine with it. Thanks.
Great, thank you.
I can go.
Oh, Connie, yes, please.
So have no concerns. I did at least view it earlier, so I can't get it now, but I have no concerns.
Okay, thanks.
And I'm good too.
All right, well, I think we have liftoff, folks. I'm looking at it and I think it looks fine. Thank you for the revisions. Should we move to approve this as submitted?
So moved.
Okay, that's Joe's motion. On Joe's motion, Angus,
Aye.
Abby,
Aye.
Connie,
Aye.
Joe,
Aye.
and I'm in favor. Okay, thank you,
you.
Carrie.
Luke thanks you.
So next up, we're at One Cherry. Oh, Ethan, I was wondering why you were standing there. Okay, myself, Abby, Angus, Connie. Oh, so you have a 4-person board, but it looks like that's what you had before. Okay,
Is yours working?
not yet.
Okay,
Can
here's
you get,
one, Cherry.
oh, thank you, thank you.
Is there anybody online?
Yeah.
Oh, right. I don't know. I'm not familiar with that. That was good. Give me yeah, perfect.
So he's coming.
I'll be your
There you go.
assistant.
Anything?
Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah, so if you look at the site plan, we reduced the height of the building, reduced the length of the building significantly by originally, Holly, if you can scroll the elevations. The top was the previous submission with the 2-car garage, and we turned it down to a 1-car garage and reduced the whole size house. This is a modular building.
Mhm.
So it's based on the modular shape dimensions. And the last page also shows the relation to the other 2 buildings on the street. So. And so it's a lot smaller. The only other thing is to make it a 1-story, but that defeats the point of, they want an apartment upstairs with the office or whatever's downstairs. Right now it's a doctor's office.
Right. Yep. Okay, you said you reduced the height?
From the original submission, so it's now, if you scroll in, you can see the height there in the corner. Oops, nope. Right there. Yeah, I can't see it from here. Well, not the height on this particular one, from the original submission that we did. We just kept shrinking the building shorter as well
Okay,
in length.
right.
Yes.
Okay,
26.
26? Yeah.
And that's with that double floor system that modulars come with.
Holly, you have anything to say?
I do, Mr. Chair, and I did want to mention you did receive a few emails from abutters. I don't see anybody in at the moment or with their hand raised, but I appreciate the change to the garage with that additive mass. I still believe that it could be a second structure. Appreciate the removal of the 2nd floor balcony facing the street. Thank you. Changing the fenestration to more traditional 6/6, most appreciated. I would like to point out that the proposed main block of the building hasn't changed though since the last review in size and height. The massing is still boxy, as mentioned by commissioners. Reducing the floor heights may be helpful, making it more appropriate in scale. The 4-panel doors should change to a more traditional secondary door, which are actually, I think, on the rear. Appreciate the change to the front door on the south, which is facing Cherry Street. It's more of a traditional door surround. The porch columns could read less commercial and more traditional, maybe even mimicking the existing bungalows or within the neighborhood, or to be more appropriate, or even the new old Cumbies, such as right around the corner, which has more traditional columns. The overall height has only been slightly reduced from 27.6 to the ridge down to 27 4 and 26-4. Appreciate the streetscape from Sherry and Williams. However, the commission considers Orange Street as one of the NHL's main streets, and it too should be included in a streetscape. And then what will the proposed as revised look from the Orange Street? Context is important. Located within the OHD, surrounded by both historic contributing and infill non-contributing structures. My question, because the application was not included in the resubmittal on what the colors are, and the COA should be updated. So update streetscape showing from Orange Street, fix the people door on the west to align with the 6/6 fenestration, reduce the floor heights, revise front porch columns, and revise the COA as it's been changed over time, and then also submit a proposed hardscaping plan, because I know that that was a comment from some of the butters.
Oh,
as
real
well.
quick, what door are you talking about?
So they're on.
Oh, yeah, that's fine. And the columns can change, and though the colors haven't changed since the original, it's like gonna be gray, trim gray.
Hang on. So Holly, thank you. Ethan, what are the colors now?
They haven't changed since the original application. Those the gray trim, Nantucket gray with black windows.
Okay, so it's all gray.
Yeah.
Okay, very good.
And I
Thank
believe it had
you
woodwork.
both. Are there any questions for Ethan on this? Before we get into it? Okay, who would like to begin?
I can start it.
Thank you, Angus.
So this has always been a little bit perplexing, because there are elements of this, like the front door and flush to grade. Like there isn't a typical deck, and there are these funny post supports that feel very commercial. But if you took away I'm looking at the south elevation from Cherry Street. If you took away the exterior stair and you had a typical, alignment, instead of the door being lower than the shingle line, it was up in its normal spot, and there were a porch there, and the porch posts were what they would normally be. This would read like a 3-bay, appropriate structure, even at a larger scale, the volume of it. But it's the mix of these elements that, is it commercial? Is it residential? The feeling of it. And it's, the garage, is kind of, what brings it off the rails for me, is that it's not separate. And to be in the OHD with an attached garage, I don't believe is appropriate. If this were, in the back of the house, but this is sandwiched by 2 streets, and the elevation where the garage is shown is the one way going up that you're going to see all the time. So there's still elements that are issues for me. And so it's more than just tweaking. It would be like removing the garage. Separating it from the main block, getting rid of the exterior stair, and resolving what's happening with the front porch. Whether this building is going to read commercial and sort of treat it that way, or if it's going to be more residential and sort of have a more appropriate deck. And if accessibility is an issue, that, being creative about getting an appropriate looking ramp up to that first floor level. Thank you.
Angus, thank you. Let's see. Connie, Abby. Oh, that's it. And then me.
I can go.
Okay, Connie.
So I agree with my fellow commissioner. My major sticking point is the garage, and the outside stair. I just feel that attached garage is inappropriate, even though I appreciate that it was brought down to one garage door instead of two, but I still think that it just is foreign to the old Orange Street. Thank you.
Thank you, Connie. Abby?
I think it's certainly gotten better since its birth, I guess. But I've always had trouble with the way this sits on the site, that it sort of overwhelms in my mind what I see as the neighboring homes, like the one in front on Orange.
The one behind it's bigger. Yeah, I agree.
Sorry, the one, in front of it.
Oh, the one in
Yeah,
117 Orange?
yeah,
Okay.
yeah. But I mean, that's what I would like to see, something more like that with additive massing, maybe a story and a half, something,
The only reason why we did that because everybody kept talking about the sight lines coming around the corners because we didn't want to stretch it down the whole length of the property.
yeah. So, yeah, maybe you've got too much agenda to make this work.
We definitely
Hang on,
had-
hang on.
Okay, so, yeah, it's just, it's not about the architecture. The architecture is fine. It's just that where it is and its neighboring buildings and, I could see, still sort of paring this down. Thank you.
Okay, Abby, thanks. So, a couple of really good points were brought up here, not least of which was this idea that the porch right now seems to be sitting like right at grade, which is just not done. I don't, is this going to be a slab on grade type construction?
Because it's commercial, we didn't want to do the handicap ramps with all the railings because you're going to look at all that stuff. So we're trying to bring the building down to grade level. Like every
You know,
building
I
around.
get that, but I think that one of the issues is, in so doing, a porch and porch columns are supposed to land on something, some kind of deck surface that isn't just like grade. And whatever that is at the bottom of the columns is not great. So there's that. Other things like it looks like you have a commercial rail on this exterior stair.
Yes.
So like Matt down at Via Mare did the balusters up to 36 inches and then just had a little, horizontal rail, and it looks really great because it sort of isn't this big, tall thing. But I do certainly agree that the exterior stair is not helping this.
I know, you need the two egresses.
Of course you do, yeah. Yeah, so I think,
And we can definitely remove the garage. I just remember your comment
well,
last
that's a
meeting.
great idea.
Your comment the last meeting was you liked, instead of the big double garage, let's reduce it to half the size. So that's why with this. Yeah.
Yeah, standalone. Well, that would help you immensely, I think. So should we
Okay.
hold for some more revisions, folks?
So moved.
Okay, that was Abby's motion. On
Thanks.
Abby's motion, Angus,
Aye.
Connie,
I,
Abby,
Aye.
and I'm in favor. There we go. The next one at 59 Baxter is yours. I'm recusing, yours as in Angus.
Thank you. All right. So the board will be myself, Abby Camp, Carrie Thornwell, Connie Patton, and Joe Paul. Do we have representation? Oh, hey, the light is right there. I've been staring at too many screens. Our technical issues tonight are pretty intense. Would you like to go ahead and present? Thank you.
So, we took your comments seriously last time we presented. And I think we made some revisions to address all of the concerns that you have. But the primary objective, I think, of the revisions that we did was to try to maintain the openness of the property on the east side, as it presents closer to the bluff. So to that end, we moved the screening, the proposed screening, to about 75 feet away from the bluff walk. We reduced the pool size, and we also eliminated the proposed patio so that the plantings that we're proposing are really hugging the ends of the pool. We redesigned the landscape around it as a layered curving sequence, garden, open picket fence, and planting rather than a linear screening edge. And then we added the gate on the right side as was suggested to improve the access and the screening. And then I think I did say we reduced the pool a little bit and moved it down significantly towards the west. So I think this balances the privacy for the owners and the openness and the rural character of the bluff landscape.
Thank you. Are there any questions from the commissioners?
The gates are 4 feet, just like the picket. Is that right?
The gates are 4 feet, just like the picket.
I really appreciate all the changes. I think the more naturalistic looking curvature sort of goes with a more natural landscape, so it's not so obviously that there's some big square pool behind it. Yeah, I think this is a lot better and I appreciate it. And they're not that big of tweaks really. So I think your client's gonna get what they want. Thank you.
Thank you, Carrie.
Mr. Chair.
Yes,
I
Holly.
wanted to, if it's okay, I just wanted to emphasize something that I put in my staff comments is the fact that what you see on the plan with the bluff walk where it's shown in reality with the property line is not accurate based on photographs of the property currently on Zillow, where you can actually see the aerial and see where the walk is in relationship to the existing hedge. And I just think that's important for the commission to note. So my point is where the property line is shown here versus where the walk is actually very close to where the hedge is. It's not represented. From my opinion.
Is the hedge location changing?
Based on the information I saw with photos, it's not clear.
Carrie, if I may answer, we're not proposing changes to that side of the property line at all. Whether the bluff walk is hugging that line or a little further away, there's no changes to there. Like we're just doing things inside the property line.
Right, got it. So the walk is probably just a little closer to that hedge, Holly.
Might be, yeah.
Okay.
So, yeah.
Well, I think it's not, I think it's not going to be visible, and what will be visible is a more natural sort of garden for the bluff walk as well. It's not so square and rigid. I understand it's all, yeah, well, here's the photo of it all open right now, but they could do the landscaping and no pool and we wouldn't have a say, but because they're doing the pool, they need the landscaping, and I think it seems appropriate.
Thank you for that, Carrie. I actually, before we go further, I do have a question. So there's a mention of a picket, and I looked at the picket fence detail, and it's somewhat atypical. Generally the picket that we're talking about is a type 2 fence, maybe up to 3 feet, and there's the same amount of picket as there is space between the pickets. And so with this, it appears, I don't know if you can zero in on that detail, but this is reading more like a vertical board fence than a picket fence. Also, these examples are, there's more of a spacing in those photographs than what is shown on the detail. Yeah. So I guess my question for the applicant is it going to be more like either photographs, or is it to be built as the detail
Well,
is drawn?
This is what we were proposing with the spirit of kind of what we showed in the garden. If we want to increase the spacing between the pickets, we're happy to do so.
So like a traditional one-to-one
No problem.
space to the board. And the height,
We were making it a little bit curvy, so it would go with the garden, the top of it. But if you prefer that it be just all one height, we can also accommodate that. I think we wanted to go with the spirit of the board rather than,
I'm just, sorry, I'm just looking for answers. I, I'm not, sorry, I don't mean to be reviewing it at this point. I'm just asking about what is intended for the fence. Okay, commissioners, anyone else like to speak?
I could go. This is Joe speaking.
Thanks, Joe.
I I appreciate the changes, and looking at the site plan, it feels a lot less architectural than the previous plan, and I think that you're not going to know there's a pool behind here unless you fly over the top of it. I I think the landscape plan is appropriate. The fencing, I think it's unique. And that's not a bad thing. I think it feels like a cottage garden fence with the undulating top. If there were more spaces or more space between the pickets, that would be fine. But I think actually the curve for the varying heights that create that soft curve works well with the design, the garden design that you have. We're looking at multiple layers of pool screening from the street and from the bluff walk. So I do think that the site plan should probably be amended to reflect the aerial that Holly showed, but for me, that doesn't change my visibility issues. I think we've got a lot of layering happening here. I don't think we'll know that there's a pool in this location. So I have no concerns with the application and appreciate the revisions. Thank you.
Thanks, Joe. Who's next?
I can go.
Please go ahead, Connie.
I do appreciate the changes. I do think that you have really mitigated the visibility. I would be in favor of the pickets being a little wider apart, but I do like the undulating. I think that's a nice touch. So I don't have any concerns with our pool caveat added to the COA. And I also think we need a date, right, Holly?
Yes, thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you for that, Connie. Abby?
Thanks. Yeah, I think it's quite well hidden, but I think my original thought that we're changing the look of this, public way and setting a precedence for having pools in general. I think we're taking away from that natural nature of just that. We can call it a streetscape, even though it's a path. So, I could see doing something like just a small plunge pool or whatever they're called, but I really can't see a swimming pool in this uh, area. Thank you.
Thank you, Abby. So that leaves me. I um, I I think that the fence needs to be um one that is typical, a type 2. A board fence, I don't think is appropriate. And so if there's a type 2 fence that um, generally they don't sort of meander in this organic way that this is now shown. Um, and I think that that might it might just read oddly, both the undulation of it horizontally and vertically. Um, but I think I'm a minority in that. Um, the amount of spacing in the pickets, um, I I believe should be 1-to-1. Um, and I'm not sure how much is going to be visible with the 1-to-1. Um, but I just know that having an opaque wall between the path and the Baxter Road is just changing the character. And as Abby has stated, I would hate for it to set a precedent for more open feeling areas to just get walled off. There's been a real move with the sort of the thickening and heightening of the hedges, both along Baxter and the Bluff Walk. And I hate to be deliberate about approving something that's going that direction. So what is the, do I have a motion from the commissioners?
Could I get clarification on where the picket fence is?
So
I understood it to be around the driveway and then at the pool, but you just mentioned the street. So I'm just, is it that dashed line that we see that's just inside the property of the privet?
right, Joe, so if you look at, you know, the area above the pool to the east, it's kind of like an infinity sign, so like a mustache. So it's sort of the dark line of the mustache would be the fence lines, kind of similarly below the pool, and then the hedge along the driveway is very thick, and then we have like a little arbor gate there.
Oh, okay. So the fencing is really just in the two curved
Yeah,
areas between the two structures.
right.
Okay.
And they're going to be planted on both sides, basically.
That's correct.
I feel like this is leaving as much open as possible with, you know, developing their property. And um, I get like, oh, wouldn't it be nice to see all the way through still? But at the same time, it's like they could just put up the garden however they want with no pool, and we have no say. But bringing in the pool, you know, necessitates the garden, and we've asked for it to be as naturalistic as possible. I think she's done a great job at that. And then the reduction of the pool, I feel like, is also something that helps mitigate what's behind there. I think a 1-to-1 fence would be too open because that gives us the potential of seeing through it if some of the plants don't do well in a season, or if some of them aren't thick enough or whatever. And I think if we put our caveat on here, I think this is doable. I mean, I'm thinking about a pool just last week that got approved that's 10 feet from the property line on a historic street. So I'm just thinking apples to apples here. A street versus the bluff walk. I love the bluff walk. I do it every year. It's beautiful. But I do think it's no different than a street, and we've just approved something, you know, I don't know. I think we got to be consistent here.
Yeah, I agree with everything that Carrie said. I'd make a motion to approve as submitted.
With the caveat of make sure that it's not ever visible from the street or the bluff walk.
Correct. Yeah, with the typical caveat.
Right.
And just to clarify on your motion that it's the revised plan, Carrie?
Yes, the curvilinear one that we're looking
Yeah.
at. Yes,
Yep.
absolutely.
Okay. On your motion, Abby.
It was Joe's motion.
Oh, I'm sorry. On
Yeah.
Joe's motion, Abby.
I'm a nay.
Carrie,
Aye.
Joe,
Aye.
Connie,
Aye.
and I'm a nay as well. It carries 3-2. Thank you. Back over to you, Ray.
All right. 35 Maury. Shauna, hi. Myself, Angus, Abby, Carrie, Connie. 35. Okay.
So if we could start on sheet A11. Or, oh. Yeah,
Okay.
that one. So I just want to start with, on the site plan, where you see the cottage on the left, that hedge, where it turns and kind of goes up at an angle. Before, it used to go straight into the cottage, and so we're gonna create a new hedge to kind of obscure that porch more as well, just to make it more part of the lawn area to the right. And if you look at the pictures on the right-hand side, like the photos, the first one is the view of the main house from Maury Lane. So you can see that that big tree covers the front of the house with the main house. Then the next one is from the south side of Maury Lane, looking back towards the house, and you can see the cottage is just a little sliver on the left. The third picture, looking at the entrance to Hedge Row, you can see that the cottage is way down and it really isn't very visible at all from Hedge Row or from Maury Lane, sorry. The next one is the picture of the hedge and looking at the house when you're standing on Hedge Row. So that's how tall the hedge is. And you can see also the picture below it. That is the owner, Ian, and he is approximately 6 foot. So you can see how tall that hedge is that is going around the corner that is going to obscure the cottage. So number 6 picture, you'll see that that hedge goes directly back now, but it is going to angle to obscure. Then we have the house from inside the hedge, so you can see the full main house. And the last photo is of the right side of the main house, and that is the area that we're mimicking for the cottage. So if you go to, thank you, to the new south elevation down there in the bottom right, you can see that we have turned the lower level into an actual porch, not a solid shingled wall. And we have lessened the amount of posts in the railing to kind of simple it out. And then we have switched the roof of from the shed dormer to the gable to kind of mimic the right-hand side of the main house. And on the east elevation, we've removed a window. That's it.
Okay, Shauna, thank you. Does anyone have any questions for Shauna before you?
I do.
Yes.
I'm
Abby.
sure I'm looking at the right thing. Is so the porch, the 2 garage doors or whatever those are facing.
They're facing the driveway, so
Facing the
they
driveway,
they
which
won't be visible at all.
Which is what head is that hedgerow?
So hedgerow is down here at the bottom.
Okay,
So they would go into the driveway and then pull in and
Yeah.
curve in like that.
okay, so we're really just, we're concerned about the side with the porch side.
Yes.
Okay, gotcha. That's, so I think I could continue.
Yeah, that would be great, Abby. Thank you.
Um, um, yeah, I like the asymmetry or this sort of salt box style. Sort of ensconcedy. My concern were the garage doors, but as you say, those look, you really wouldn't see those. So I'm okay with the revisions. Thank you.
Okay, Abby, thank you. Let's see, who's next?
I'll go.
Carrie.
I appreciate the revisions, but I think the gable dormer facing hedgerow is just, it's so massive. And on a salt box, I feel like it just feels so heavy. Can you go to the south elevation? And I just wish it was something else, like maybe two smaller dormers. It's even on the previously submitted, it just was a really big wall, glass aside. And I just think, I don't think the gable is any better. I think it was really about the wall height of it. And if it were a shed dormer pushed back, I think that would be a lighter feeling, but this is a big visibility factor on this elevation. That's all I've got. Thanks.
Okay, Carrie, thank you.
I'm happy to go.
Yes, Angus.
So I think that the salt box thing is definitely helping. But the deck needs to come back from the front of it. So that it minimizes the rail and maybe it's even shingled, but it needs to narrow the width of this deck proportionally to the building compared to the decks that are on the main house and others along the lane. It just feels like too much deck. And typically the deck would face inward as opposed to outward on the lot, which would be much better than facing out at all. But there are a few houses along the way that do have decks facing the street. And so I just think it needs to get smaller, and that might help, to Carrie's point, to reduce the dormer. Maybe the dormer just gets smaller and the deck gets smaller, but just to reduce the second floor sort of wall space facing hedgerow. Thank you.
Thank you, Angus. Let's see. Connie, is that you?
I think so.
Yeah.
Yeah, I really don't have anything else to add, but I do agree with my fellow commissioners on that south elevation. That deck just seems to overwhelm the structure. So I think some kind of modification on that would be appropriate. Thank you.
Okay, thanks. I think I might actually have a solution here, given what the board members' concerns are, which I don't at all disagree with. So, Sauna, one thing, first of all, I think that it was a move in the wrong direction to go from the shed roof to the gable, which is a very low pitch, lower than anything I can see on the house. So, assuming that you go back to the shed roof, what you're actually not showing correctly, if we look at either the west or the east elevation and see how that dormer intersects the salt box coming down, is the salt box is going to come around and embrace the dormer, and that's evidenced by, like, if you look at the west elevation, you have a little corner board coming down. Well, when that little corner board hits the roof below it, that's when the roof below it is gonna round the corner and come back. It's not gonna go straight down. It's gonna return. Now, what I'm gonna suggest, given Angus's concern for the width of the deck, is if you had the returns come down and return to where like the French doors are on the left-hand side, which is about 15-inch return. If you did that on both sides, it's going to do a few things. One, it's going to sort of anchor the dormer. And two, more importantly, is then your deck is going to be as wide as that inset portion, which will be about 3 feet narrower than it's showing right now. And that's all as a result of the drawing currently not showing the dormer sort of embedded into the salt box roof the way it really is. Does that make sense?
Yeah, the reason we went to the gable was because the board had not liked the shed at the last meeting. And they wanted it, you had expressed interest in it looking more like the main house. And so that's why we went to the gable, because that mimics the right-hand side of the main house. And that gable on the right-hand side does only have the 3 feet. And that's why we showed that picture.
Well, I would agree with you, but I don't think the roof pitches are the same.
Okay.
And it's not a very attractive element as it is. It's very clunky and chunky. So to mimic something that's not so great in the first place is,
On the main house,
yeah. It's such a heavy dormer. So
Well, so I want to back up to say
Sure.
that I appreciate the idea of the open porch. I think that's a win. That's a real win, as opposed to that sort of faux wall that you had going on. So I think that if you were actually able to do kind of sort of what I suggested doing, the perceived size of this dormer is going to get smaller. And it's also going to reduce the size of the second floor deck, which has been kind of a controversial, perhaps the most controversial element of this whole application since we saw it for the first time. Anyway, that's all I have to say.
A motion.
Yeah, sure.
I'll make a motion to go back to the shed dormer and pull in the balustrade or the deck to the French doors and the window and make that a shingle balustrade rather than an open balustrade. I think that way it will sort of go into disappear into the roof.
and draw the dormer correctly too, with that roof that what Ray was describing, the way it's sort of envelopes or hugs the deck.
Is
That-
this an exhibit A?
That was sort of in there, and I'm going to suggest that rather than embrace to the window, it should go as far as the door on the left side. That will establish, and then we want it to be symmetrical. So you'll take that amount and you'll do it the same way on the right-hand side, and just sort of mentally scaling it. That's probably a reduction in that deck by about 3 feet, my guess. Is everybody comfortable with that as a solution, or do we want?
The
Yes.
only architecturally speaking, yeah, I was going to say that the window looks like it's centered between the door and the end of the cheek, and that I guess wouldn't really, I mean, the way the roof comes in, it's still going to be different than the other side. Yeah. So we're with an exhibit A motion, is that?
Yeah, I mean, Abby summed it up pretty well, I would say.
Okay.
So, I guess that's my motion.
Okay. Okay, let me see here. On Abby's motion, Angus,
Aye.
Carrie,
Aye.
Bonnie,
Aye.
Abby,
Aye.
and I'm in favor. Does anyone feel good about drawing up an exhibit A, or I'd be happy to do it?
Sure.
Sure.
Whatever. Okay, so there's 35 more. Thank you, Sana. 118 Eel Point. Myself, Angus, Abby, Val, Connie. Oh, there you are.
Yep. I'm just
Okay.
waiting on it to.
Yeah.
Doesn't say landscape.
There we go. What's up?
So based on the board's comments at the last meeting, we eliminated the driveway off of Eel Point and kept the one off the side road. We brought the landscape in closer to the pool, having the trees kind of go up the slope, because I think the concern was that the board and didn't want to see like a line of trees. So this allowed us to get that, and then also kind of brought it in. We also added a grouping of trees, like so when you look down the driveway, you're not looking, right at the house. It's kind of tucks the house in a little bit, which I know is another concern of the board. So
It is.
that's pretty much all you guys asked for. So.
Okay. Thank you, Lindsay. Any questions for Lindsay, or should we head right into it?
I'll go.
Okay. There's Val.
I appreciate the changes. Thank you.
Short and sweet. Thank you, Val.
Mhm.
Next.
I can go.
Okay.
I have no concerns. Thank you.
Right, so let's see. Val, Connie, Abby, Angus.
I wanted to squeeze in a question there.
Go ahead.
On the front of the house where you have, where there are no trees, but they're just, it looks like it's just white. Is that, every time I touch my thing, it just.
It's lawn, so we have.
That's
going
lawn.
up to the-
Okay, well, that's, so, on this one, where in front of the house where it's white. And is there any driveway in front of the house?
So the driveway cuts across the front,
it's
because
still-
the
it's still
parking's on
cut
the other
across.
side, because we didn't want to have
Yeah.
if we put the parking on the other side, you'd just be staring at a parking lot, because then you'd have the drive down to the garage right there. So we kept it on the other side, but we just tucked it in more with plantings.
Yeah, I think that was it. That was my, I appreciate the other, trying to, that view from the Linda Loring estate, trying to mitigate that view from there and make it naturalistic. I think my only, I know you put a lot of trees on Eel Point Road. I still have trouble though with that driveway cutting across the front of it and having, there's a lot of driveway there. Which still makes it hardscaping, but those are my thoughts. Thanks.
Okay, Abby, thank you. Angus, I think it's to you, right?
Thank you. So when I'm looking at this plan, I'm seeing the undulation around the pool. And I think that, what's that?
It won't go.
There you go.
Oh, you hit Connie.
I know.
Not showing up on the
It's
screen.
like it's not showing up on there.
Oh,
That's weird. But, so there's all this undulation around the pool, which wasn't there, which, is great, but except for like the 3 trees in front of the cabana and the 2 trees that are over, the left side of the pool as we're looking at it, it's still pretty much a straight line from the Linda Loring. And in the section, it just seems like it's much steeper than what is shown in the section. So I feel like there's going to be, a real slope up and then this wall of trees. And I feel like the undulation is going to be more interesting on the inside and more like a wall on the outside. I appreciate the extra added trees on the north side facing Eel Point. I think that the three that are sort of in front of the driveway, if those were brought more down between the driveway and the corner of the house, they would be more effective with sort of the screening than, because right now I think the only screening that they do is of the front yard when you're at the driveway, or of the side yard where the driveway goes down underneath the house from the road. So I think a few more trees in that area where it really thins out there might
Sure.
help it. And I don't,
Angus, excuse me.
Yeah.
Where do you want to have more trees?
see where the driveway comes in and there's like 3 trees right in the,
Oh, that lane. Yeah, okay. got it. Yeah.
but somewhere in between,
I think you're talking about the one in closer in that island area, right? Like in the grass, there's like grouping of 3 right there.
Right there.
Adding more south of that.
right.
Yeah.
And it even could still be these, but I think something here
Right.
is
Yeah.
going to be more
Okay.
effective with this sight line.
Sure.
And without the pointer, I mean, to have more of this feeling with the trees, I think is going to be effective. Right now, it's still just like a straight line.
Those trees are also the green circles. Those are trees. They're going up the slope. So up into that
Yeah.
undulation. So all of those
Yeah.
are trees kind of going there so that it didn't give, the idea was not to have that row, but to have it staggered going up and down.
Right.
Yeah, I mean, I don't know how this is going to read. If it's going to read as the line that it's showing.
That's
or if it's
existing
going
brush,
to,
like that,
push and
that
pull.
squiggle line at the bottom, that's existing brush.
Okay.
And so the green is the new trees that we're adding, the darker green.
Okay, so this is all new.
Correct. Yeah.
Thank you.
No problem.
Thank you, Angus. So if you're amenable to Angus's proposal, I think that we could move that because I think that would be fine. There are some people that are fine with it the way it is. And I think that would, put it over the finish line
Sure.
if you're amenable.
Yes, sir.
Angus, could you do an exhibit A just to show where the plantings would occur? If
Sure.
that could be your motion.
That would be my motion, just to add a few more
Okay.
plants as described.
All right. So Angus has made a motion to add a few more plants, which he's going to identify on an exhibit A. So on Angus's motion, Connie.
Oh, sorry, and along with the regular pool caveat.
Oh, yeah, along with our pool not visible at time of inspection, et cetera, et cetera. You could write that on there. That'd be great. So on Angus's motion, Connie,
Aye.
Val,
Aye.
Abby,
Aye.
Angus,
Hi.
and I'm in favor. Okay,
Thank
there we
you.
are. Is that the end of you, Lindsay? I think maybe so. Okay, 4C Street Lot 13. Matthew. Matthew, Board, let's see, myself, Angus, Abby, Carrie, Connie. Okay.
Thank you.
I'm just waiting for that to pop up on the screen.
Yeah.
Actually, we're on 4C Street. Okay.
Yeah.
So, first of all, thank you, Mr. Chair. So you've seen this once before. most of the comments revolved around the facade, the street facade. You can see in the previous iteration, we had a secondary gable facing the street. A lot of the feedback was that that was somewhat atypical. Also to generally simplify the structure where we could. So what we did is change that entire massing, that secondary gable, eliminated that secondary gable, and instead did a story and a half with 2 flush gable dormers. We did add a 1-story bay, which falls in the first floor bedroom. We thought that when we just had the 2 windows on the second floor and 2 windows on the lower floor, it felt like a bit disparate, if you will. So we thought that was an appropriate addition to add some layering to the facade. We've omitted some of the banding details on the second floor. And I think that that is the majority of the changes. So before the comments from the board, Mr. Chair. Thank you.
Okay, Matthew, thank you. Curious, when you said eliminate the banding, I still see the sort of flare. Was there something beyond that?
Oh, sorry. There was a, I think there was, yeah. And we also, sorry. I was referring to the window
You're
height
talking
too.
about above the second floor windows.
Yeah,
Yeah, okay, got it.
yeah. We, and we also, I forgot to mention that we did increase the size of the windows, which was a comment or suggestion by the board. So that was a great one.
Yeah, okay, thanks.
Mr. Chair.
Yes,
I just wanted to mention, this is in the FEMA flood, and we have received the elevation certificate. Thank you, Matt. And my only comment would be with the revision or the meeting rails, they don't match, they don't line up. John McLaughlin wouldn't like that.
okay. Holly, thank you. Let's see. Did I identify the board?
Oops.
Me, Angus, Abby, Carrie, Connie.
I'm happy to go.
Angus.
I was. It was right here just a second ago.
Uh-huh.
I wanted to say in general, I appreciate all the changes that were made to Holly's point. The height of the roof in general, if the whole whole thing came down till the eave was doing the lineup with the meeting rails of the windows, I think it would get rid of some extra wall space on the street facing dormers. But also it would sort of decrease the overall height. And the only other thing was the gable window up on the 3rd floor. To me, that just accentuates the height, which is forced because of the flood zone. But just sort of calling attention to it with that extra detail. I think that the details in general were kind of pared down a little bit, so it's not as Victorian. And I feel like that sort of is reaching in that more ornate finish than what the rest of the house is exhibiting. But other than that, I think it's really gotten to a good place. Thank you.
Okay, thanks, Angus. Who's next?
I'll go.
Carrie, thank you.
I agree with Angus in terms of the smaller dormers, and I also think the roof pitch as a 12-12 is too much. I think in town and the simpler streetscape of this particular street, it would be appreciated to not go with that 12/12. I think the second floor flare is kind of not necessary either. And then I do also think that the second floor is being like accentuated here somehow. And I think part of it is the 4 windows. I think maybe the outermost, if they can come in a little bit, the regular separation of them is somehow making this thing read very sort of heavy. And I think that could be helped by just a little tweak on those window separations. But I appreciate all the other changes. I just think a little bit more out of the height and those window changes and the dormers. That's it. Thank you.
Okay, Carrie, thanks. We still have Abby and Connie, I believe.
I
Yeah,
can go.
yeah, Abby.
I agree with my fellow board members about what's been said about the meeting rails and the pitch of the gable. So I'm just wondering, instead of having those brackets, if there was another way you could address those columns. Maybe there's sort of a Victorian sort of post that has a detail on it, or, because the brackets, to me, they don't, they kind of go with it because of the dormers, but they look like another style to me. And you've created sort of a nice high style here, sort of pared down Victorian, but I think that the brackets somehow are they're not going with the rest of the building. Thank you.
Thank you, Abby. I think that's to you,
Me,
Connie.
yes. Matt, I appreciate the changes. I think if you change the pitch on those dormers, it might decrease some of that shingle space too above the windows. Other than that, I think it's very nice design and appropriate. Thank you.
Thanks, Connie. Was there discussion about changing not just the roof pitch on the dormers, but on the gable?
Ray, can I just clarify? Because it seems like everyone's sort of built on the comments that I gave, and I just want to clarify what I'm saying.
Yeah.
Is that this roof, some people were talking about the pitch coming down, but I'm talking about bringing this whole roof down till this is lining up with the meeting rails. And it would do it the same when you go to the other elevations of this lining up there.
Oh, so the eave on both,
Yeah, the whole roof.
well, but the two roofs,
Yeah.
both of the intersecting gables. Well, that would certainly serve to reduce the height of the building by 9 inches or so. Okay, so that, thank you for clarifying. Interestingly, to Carrie's point about the windows on the second floor, they're not equally spaced. The two in the middle are closer together than the numbers 1 and 2 and numbers 3 and 4. So if the roof did come down, those windows could move in and they would be spaced equally. And although I like it sort of, as a period detail, I think maybe that the little pediment over the attic window is a little bit too much. And we are trying to, there's a lot of buildings down there and they all have these, unique identities. And so I'm afraid that I want to kind of be judicious with the detailing. Although I think as a detail, it's very, very pretty. But there's plenty of detail on this house. Now, is that enough to move this along, or do we want to see it revised? Do you want, what are your thoughts, Matt?
I mean, I think I have some pretty clear direction. I mean, I was going to say to drop the plate height 6 to 9 inches. That would make the meeting rails align.
That would, yeah.
And then it also, by nature of that, would force those two outer windows in 6 inches.
Yep.
And Abby's comment about the 45-degree angle brackets, that might be something you might want to look at, because if we make an adjustment to that, it might be something a bit more expressive. So we're happy to make those changes and bring it before you again.
Okay. So I don't think you're looking at much to get this across the finish line. Can we have a motion for some minor revisions?
So moved.
Okay, that's Angus's motion. On that motion, Abby,
Aye.
Carrie, Connie,
Aye.
okay, I'm an I,
I'm an I.
yeah, Angus and Carrie, we'll assume that you were an I for now. Okay, Matt, that was one. Now we're at 6 C Street,
Thank you.
lot 12.
Okay, with your permission, Mr. Chair, I'll just jump right in.
Yep.
So this is 6C Street. This is the one at the tail end of the 3 lots. So the changes we made, number one, I think Joe Paul had suggested sliding the 2-story bay over to the left, which we did. That was great. 2 is on the 3rd floor dormers. If you recall previously, we had dormers on both sides of the 3rd floor. So we've removed one entirely on the right side, and then the one on the left side, we've shifted back, I believe, 12 inches. So it's become more, it's become smaller. We also reduced the overall width of the roof walk, which is a request as well. We extended the 1st floor porch, it turns the corner. We also omitted, we had what I would say is a projecting gable off of, that was centered on the front door. We omitted that. I think that was a suggestion by you, Mr. Chair. And then finally, we, on the 2nd floor dormer on the secondary additive mass, we had a continuous eave line at the dormer plate, if you will, and just omitted that. So it's a shingle break. You can see the previous iteration. Obviously had to move the stairs out slightly to account for that additional hip. So I think that those are all the changes, Mr. Chair. Thank you.
Okay. Thanks. Ah,
Chair,
yes,
I just would like to add, we received the elevation certificate for this one. Again, thank you,
good,
Matt.
great.
My only comment would be the color of the sash in the foundation. It's proposed as graphite black. And I think being closer towards more of our typical Nantuckets along North Water Street, that an Essex green would be more appropriate. Thank you.
Okay,
Totally fine with that, Mr. Chair.
all right, great. Who's ready?
I can go.
Abby.
So this thing is crashing all the time, so I
Yeah.
can't even breathe on it.
Yep.
So I'm just looking at, no, it's nothing to do with you. It's because, so I'm looking at this thing from, and it's actually kind of a good thing to see something from afar because you're not so stuck in the minutia of but from here, it reminds me of a building in like North Cambridge that's kind of been added to and forced around and sort of, it's just, I think if it were simpler, you've got a turret, you've got a front porch hip, you've got a tall pointy gable sort of, and again, it's Victorian. So I'm just wondering, it could be Victorian, but maybe it's not. Maybe it's something simpler. And to me, it just needs a little more cohesion to the detailing. Especially that front porch, like from here with my bad eyesight, it looks like it's got 2 front doors. I'm sure they're not, but so that gives it sort of an apartment building looking. So I see that it's not, but anyway, those are my thoughts. Thank you.
Okay. Abby, thank you. Next.
This is Joe speaking.
Yep.
I could go.
Yep.
I appreciate all the changes that were made, and you addressed all of them, I believe. The only thing that jumps out it doesn't jump out, but is the gable dormer. Have you looked at that as a hip? I'm curious, because you have some hips now. It's not a major concern. I'm just curious what fellow board members think, but overall, I think it fits into the context that essentially has been created down there on this street and the one that's behind it. So and it does tie in with what's that, Harbor View and Children's Beach area. So I think it's appropriate as revised, and I like Holly's suggestion of the color change. Thank you.
Mm.
And if I could, Mr. Chair, a hip would work, which I think would be
A
really
hip
nice.
would work on the
Yeah,
dormer.
really well.
Yeah. Okay.
I'm
Uh,
happy to go.
Angus, yes.
Thanks. It's a funny Joe mentions the dormer because that was on my list of things to mention. There was a certain amount of room to be able to do that. All the trim work that came across in front of the window, and then in the simplification, all that went away. But then there's all this sort of open space above the window, and so. I think the hip is a good suggestion. I was thinking of a shed, but just something to mitigate that sort of open wall area above the dormer. Um, the we kind of have the same eave thing with the meeting rail of that that dormer window. And I so appreciate the open roof facing east. I think we had mentioned both the dormers. It would be great to see the other one either draw back further or be eliminated. But so refreshing to see that roof walk just sitting on a plain open roof. And other than that, I agree about the color change being a good idea. Thank you.
Okay. Thanks, Angus. Let's see. Connie, yeah.
Matthew, again, I appreciate the changes. I would entertain the hip and certainly the Essex green if that's amenable with you. But yeah, other than that, I have no concerns. Thank you.
Okay. Although I agree with Abby on the porch, there's a little bit of complexity that was added when you rounded the corner, which introduced another column. But I see that, those columns are symmetrical about the front door, which is probably the right thing to do. I'm not sure it's gonna, the fact that the column spacing is irregular is gonna be a huge problem. Hipped roof on the dormer, great idea. It'll harken back to the sort of bay that you have. Thanks for eliminating, oh gosh. Some people. And the green trim or the green foundation color and the sash. Are we all good with that extent of revisions? If so, I'll do a motion.
Yes.
Take a motion.
That works for me.
Okay. Does somebody want to make that motion?
I'd make that motion.
Okay. So Joe's motion is to approve this with a couple of changes that we can note down in the notes of the approval. Hipped roof on the dormer. This is all, of course, on the south elevation. Hipped roof on the dormer and Essex green on the foundation and on the sash as opposed to the gunmetal gray that was specified. I think that was it, right? Is that it?
The meeting rails, are they?
In order to do the meeting rails, we are talking about dropping down the eave on the subordinate mass. Is that a?
I think it's only a few inches, somewhere in the range of maybe 4 or so, something like that. That's certainly close.
Well, is that to say that you'd be willing to do it, or is that to say that it's inconsequential?
I think that if it's important, we can do it.
Is that, do people feel like that's a condition of this approval?
No.
I don't, because it's sort of a one-off dormer versus part of the overriding massing. So it
Okay.
and I think it's going to get minimized once it becomes a hip.
Right.
Yeah.
Agree. All right, so then the motion that you made, Joe, still stands. Green, as I mentioned, and hip dormer. On Joe's motion, Angus,
Aye.
Abby,
Aye.
Connie,
Aye.
Joe,
Aye.
and I'm in favor. Okay, there.
Thank you.
Two down, Matt,
Yeah,
and
it's gonna be really nice.
so Mothball Way.
Okay, with your permission, Mr. Chair, I'll dive in.
Yeah.
All right, so you've seen this before. It's a new
yeah.
residence, One Mothball Way. So we've made a revisions before. So not to repeat myself, the biggest ones were the relationship between the garage mass and the main mass of the house. And so what we tried to do is adjust the ratio so that where the two, or formerly there were two garage doors, and that garage massing, if you will, was kind of taller and bigger, and you know, it was the tail wagging the dog, if you will. So we played around with the ratios of the relationship between the primary mass or the center mass and this. And so at this point, the center mass, if you will, has a just slightly higher ridge height than that of the secondary additive mass to the left with the formerly two garage bays. So we've omitted one of the garage doors and added the two windows. And that was, you know, based on comments from the board. And we've also eliminated that third center dormer, which we had done in the earlier iteration. We also played around slightly with those transom dormers, those small transom dormers, to slide them a little bit higher on the roof plane. And I think that was a majority of the changes. So with that, look forward to comments from the board, Mr. Chair. Oh, sorry, one other thing, an important thing. Val had mentioned omitting the cross gable, which is shown in this perspective. I was going to slide up the elevations if I could, bear with me. There was an intersecting gable on that secondary mass, which Val had pointed out. You can see it in the previous iteration. We've omitted that completely. And I think that one of the thoughts was that intersecting gable was adding to the overall mass of that piece, if you will. So we were able to omit that and switch it to a shallow shed dormer. So that was the other change that we made.
Okay.
That's it,
Matt.
Mr. Chair. Thank you.
Who's ready? Anybody ready?
I could go.
Okay, Angus.
I appreciate all the changes. The thing that is still glaring for me is this idea of an attached garage and garage doors on the front of the house, projecting. I think the only way that garage doors work in this situation is for this to at least be halfway back on the main block of the house. So for me, it's more of a massing change. And it's pretty tight on the lot. So I think it would involve some changes, but I think that was a number of people's concern in the last meeting. Still is for me.
Okay, Angus, thank you. Who's next?
I can go.
Carrie.
I agree with Angus, but I think part of it for me is the pent roof over the doors. I totally appreciate getting rid of both sets of doors. That helps. But the roof over the doors helps to accentuate that they're there. And then the little dormer that you can see right here on that garage mass in the corner, I think if you remove that entire dormer, it will help mitigate the size of that piece, and that you might get away with leaving it where it is, at least for me. So those two things I think do it for me. Thanks.
Carrie, just to be clear, so your two things were the
The
pent
roof
roof
over the garage doors and the
Right.
dormer in that corner there. You can see it on this perspective. The right-hand dormer of that garage mass, second floor.
Yeah.
It's just awkward. It crashes into things, and I think it would be best left out to simplify the garage massing.
That's your bathroom dormer, right, Matt?
Yes.
No, it's also kind of you're getting into the bedroom dormer. Okay, Carrie, thank you. Who's next?
I'll go.
Mhm.
I went out there again today
Mm.
and realized I came across Dorothy and Phil Bartlett's house that has a big giant garage with a house attached to it. It's the first thing you see. So, I appreciate the changes Matt made hugely, especially getting rid of that gable. I feel like it just made that so much calmer. Was Carrie suggesting getting rid of the pent roof?
Mm-hmm.
Okay. Yeah, I don't care about that. The pent roof, I think it now feels like it's part of the house. I know it has garage doors still, but maybe it's a shed. So I'm okay with this.
Okay. Thank you. And that leaves you, Abby.
It does? Okay, so, yeah, I'm sort of buying into the garage door thing. What's the material on those? Are they
The
like
doors
are they like a
long.
V groove?
Yes, yeah, sorry, V group. We were, honestly, we're open to, through you, Mr. Chair, any option. We thought that the simple V groove was the best way to go, but we've talked about, it could be however simple you want. I mean, honestly, the other thing the owner was suggesting, is there any way to do a hidden garage door, like actually have two windows in a shingled wall? And I was like, I don't think that that's possible.
I'm not sure you need to go there. I mean, I
But
appreciate.
anyways, we will go as simple as makes sense.
Yeah, I think the little pent roof kind of goes with those shed dormers in the roof there. So that ties into, I think the only thing that looks a little off is that shoved in dormer on the garage massing that's in between there. I'm sure you could figure out something
I think we could
to
try
do
figure
about it
something out there, yeah.
to make it work. Thank you.
Okay, Abby, thanks. Yeah, I think that the pent roof is calling attention to the garage doors. I just as soon not have it. Gosh, Matt, I also don't love the dormer. I see the need for it, and I've been in that situation myself, just being able to access it to the gable. You don't,
I mean, I think there's probably a way for us to either alter it or, yeah, like lift it, push it back so it doesn't appear as if it's dying.
we've been pushing it back, because right now it's kind of coming to it looks like it's coming to the 3 foot mark. If we're able to push it back, I think that would be great. Maybe one window instead of two.
Mhm.
Should we try and do an exhibit A on this? We're so close, so close.
Because there are two other buildings that are just big garages that are houses.
Well, I
so-
was gonna say that, I mean, there's certainly a lot of precedent
Yeah.
for the garages there. Yeah.
What are we
Um,
doing about the dormer?
Well, it sounds like, at a minimum, we can push it back, further away from the gable end.
So it goes up into and it ends at the eave?
I think it would just push, I initially thought it could go in, but I think what they were suggesting was to push it back off the gable end, which we could push it back.
That's what I was suggesting.
So from the front back.
Yeah, we could push it another
Yeah.
30 inches.
Like, so if we look at the south elevation, we see that the dormer is got two windows and
Yeah.
it's pretty much 3 feet away from the gable end. If we pushed it back, by some number.
But it's not this.
No, it's not that one.
It's the one on the
It's-
inside.
This.
Yeah. Oh, right. Okay. Gotcha. Roger that.
Put the roof plan, Mr. Chair, up on the screen if that's a helpful reference point.
Yeah, so I mean, right now it's in line with the other dormer on the other side, but if it got pushed back, I think Carrie's point is that it would make the garage feel a little bit more distinct. And I agree with that. But, so what's our magic number there, folks?
We should back, like, it was 30 inches. I drew the line.
That would do
in
it for
white.
me.
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay, so are we eliminating the pent roof over garage?
Yes.
Okay, and we're pushing the dormer on the right-hand side of the garage back 30 inches further back from the gable end. And was there anything else we're trying to accomplish here? I think that was it, right?
Yeah.
Okay. Can someone make that motion?
I'll make that motion, Mr. Chair.
Okay. So motion is, this Val's motion, remove the pent roof over the garage and push the dormer on the right-hand side of the garage 30 inches back from the eave. That would be as seen from the east elevation. That's
And do you
Val's.
want me to do an exhibit A?
Sure.
Okay.
Yeah, of course.
Yeah.
Staff would appreciate that.
Okay.
So that's an exhibit A. All right, so that's Val's motion. On Val's motion, Carrie,
Aye.
Abby, Angus,
I'm an A.
you're a nay, and myself is, I missed Val. Val,
I'm an aye.
and I'm an aye. So that motion carries 4 in favor, 1 opposed. Thank you.
Thank you very
all.
much.
And 5 Martins. I want to get out of here by 7:30.
Keep it moving. Okay, with your permission, Mr. Chair, I'll
Yeah.
jump in. Okay, so this is 5 Martins. You've seen this once before. Most of the comments revolved, well, yeah, I'll just run through them. So south elevation, which is a street view. So referencing a historic photo, we found that there was a pent roof adjacent to that existing bay. It does feel like it's kind of jammed in there, but that's what was the condition, or what the condition was. And so based on the photographs, we were able to recreate it as close as possible to what was there based on the photographs. So we've added that. On the right side, second floor, we had a flush shed dormer, which I think everybody felt was just a bit forced. The dormer itself looked small. And so the suggestion was to drop the plate and do a smaller window there, which simplified the massing, if you will. So we've done that. Towards the back, it's shown in shadow, but that was just an exterior covered porch that had a straight gable. We've dropped that to a hip roof, and then also added a shingled rail to help kind of define it. Again, that's towards the back of the property, so I think that from a street perspective, it's not going to be a critical player in how someone might view it. The other change was, this is the east elevation. You can see the 1/8 inch scale previous iteration where we had this gable dormer and a shed roof. I think the board had suggested that we just carry the roof following the existing pitch, which is the north elevation. So this is the back of the house, which I don't think is really visible from anywhere, but we carried that same roof pitch and then just did a shed dormer, which is kind of a simpler treatment, if you will. I'm trying to think if there's anything else here. Just the remaining elevations, and we have these simple perspectives. So with that, look forward to coming to the board, Mr. Chair. Thank you.
Thank you.
Shadow, but
Any questions or anything before we get started? Well, then let's get started. Angus, Abby, Carrie, Joe.
Mr.
Polly.
Chair.
Yes, Polly.
I did, I know you have my comments, but I did want to, on Matt's point of the pent roof. I saw those historic photos. There was, the oldest one I could find was from 1928. So it does exist, or it did exist, which I thought was really, really cool. And also shows with that fixed window in the middle that you're changing. I thought that was interesting that it dates from that. But so my point on this is Although it does seem like it was conflicted, it's historically there. I did find, this is the 1928s, and the reason why I think it's important is you can tell that it's not really like a hip. You can tell that it actually, and there's other pictures too, that there's less shingle space at the top of the pent, if that makes sense, whereas yours is kind of coming out like a shed.
Yeah.
I think if you could mimic it, it's close to the historic photo. I think it would feel a little more appropriate in that regard. And then I also found photographs of the one-story shed on the side that he's proposing to do the two stories. I thought it was interesting because it looks like from the photos that it was a porch that over time was enclosed in the one-story element that we see
Yeah.
now. And there's actually looks like there's brackets on it, so it had more of a vernacular flair to it. That's the same exact roof pitch that exists now. Yeah, they infilled it. And then you can also tell in the gable end, you know, again, this is looking down from Orange Street. And I think it's important to identify. You're gonna see that elevation. So I'm really concerned on what that elevation is gonna be with this proposed addition, which I know it's small in nature, but I wanted to bring that up to the commission's attention. There's a lot of interesting photographs on this property. So
Great.
other than that, that's my comments. Thank you, Mr. Chair.
Okay. Thanks, Holly. Who's ready?
I'm happy to go.
Angus.
I think it was a great idea to add that pent roof to the front, and as long as it's representing what's shown in the historic photos, I'm all on board with that. This shed that is on the east side of the house, existing shed roof, just makes so much sense with the massing of the house. And to add something on top of it just is not, I think it's compromising the integrity of the facade and also the appearance of the east elevation. I'd much rather see that program get utilized on the back side of like that northwest corner of the second floor of the house, or some other way off the back, but on the front, the dropped eave, and that what reads is mostly two-story, but just short of it, just feel very awkward. And I had mentioned the last meeting about reorienting the porch so that it's not coming out so long from the house, but more runs along the west elevation as opposed to projecting into the west elevation. And so I haven't seen a change with that. The dormer that is on the east side, yeah, I mean, I think with the addition that's shown that I don't think is appropriate, it's not seen as much as it would, but it just seems awkward, and especially if that second floor addition wasn't there. So yeah, it's just a really long shed as proposed. I just feel like this program is possible. It wants to be more oriented towards the back than towards the south and east. Thank you.
Makes sense.
Thanks, Angus. Who's next?
I'll go.
Carrie.
Thanks. I just think this is a pretty simple little house that's gotten very complicated, and it's almost like confusing as to what's happening. But I think that second floor addition on the shed mass on the right side is, from looking at the front, is so awkward. And I just wonder if that program can go on the left where you have your hipped porch, and then your porch can go in the back. Because I just think, yeah, this is a simple little building, and it's getting weird massing now. Really, it's just that second floor piece with that one window. It wasn't great with a dormer, and it's still not great. The rear I can live with. I think the shed dormer makes better sense, obviously, than that gable. But that's all I got. Maybe the program goes from downstairs to, or upstairs to downstairs.
Yeah.
Thanks.
Okay, Carrie, thank you. We have Joe and Abby.
Yeah, I don't have a lot. I can go, I guess. I don't have a solution to that right-hand side.
Well, through you, Mr. Chair, I think the feedback is super helpful. You know, I think that by keeping that one-story mass that's there now and then trying to introduce the program towards the back, that feedback is really, really helpful. And I think it's probably going to result in probably a dramatic enough of a revision in the interest of brevity. I definitely have enough to go on. So like, that's probably what we'll.
Well, you would have, my main comment was going to be about that single story going up to a second story and the fact that it's flush with the front of the, well, for all intents and purposes, flush with the front of the building. So if that's enough information, and I think everybody would be appreciative of that.
Yeah, definitely. I think I have enough. I can.
Okay, so why don't we hold this for revisions? Matt's getting it. Somebody want to make that
That's
motion?
my motion.
All right, Abby's made a motion to hold for revisions on that motion. Angus,
Aye.
Carrie,
Aye.
Joe,
Aye.
Abby,
I,
and I'm in favor. Okay, very good. Thank you, Matthew. And 21 India. And then you can go home and have some breakfast.
breakfast.
Well, we've been out there. Oh, it's 7 p.m. All
Oh,
right, yes, sorry. I thought we were going all night long. 21 India.
You're funny, Ray.
Did someone say short meeting?
Not me. I would still love to have my projects heard, but I'm going to wait and see how everybody feels about it. A little feedback would be good. Okay, Matt, go ahead.
Thank you. It's just taking me a second to open it up.
20 in India.
Getting a bit over it. So while I'm doing this.
India. Oh, right.
There we go. Okay, so you've seen this before. I think the last two comments were to reduce the third floor dormers from 3 to 2. And then actually simplify the massing in the rear. We had the footprint of the building stepping in and out. And so we've just made it a very simple, consistent footprint, if you will. So if you look there in here. Actually, so since I've got the foundation plan, you can see this previous iteration, this actually jogged back out and it's now just a simple straight plane, if you will. It reduced the square footage, but I think everybody felt pretty strongly about that. Almost there.
Great. Did you work on that house? I think you did, Matt, at the corner of Darling and Fair.
Yes.
That telescope back, and it wound up being a really simple sort of telescope back, and it looks great. This is similar in that regard. Who would like to begin the discussion on this?
I could go.
Okay, Joe.
Well, I think Matt has done what we asked for at the last meeting. I was very curious how the 2 dormer solution would work with the stair upstairs and how you had it before. And this, I was afraid that there might be too much space between the dormers, but I see that you shifted the dormer away from the stairs so that you've got the dormer relationship a little bit more close to one another. They're not quite centered in or equidistant, I should say, to the gable ends, but I think they works well with the fenestration and lining up over the front door. So it probably looks like a minor change, but I just see a lot of little adjustments that might have been made here. I think it's come a long way. I think it's appropriate at this point. Thank you.
Okay, thanks, Joe. Who's next?
I could go.
Oh, sorry, go ahead.
Oh, I was just going to say that I appreciate the simplification of the back L. It seems much more appropriate. The only thing that I would do on that west elevation of that back L is instead of having the little, there's like a little bit of wall and a little bit of roof. When you look at the west elevation, above the door, there's a shed roof, but it's only whatever, a foot wide. And then another shed that comes out towards the west, and then the pent roof. And I think if that corner board of the main block of the house just carried all the way down, and then a shed roof came out from the porch up to that window above the door, it would just sort of take care of three roofs in one, possibly. I don't want to design at the table, but I just like some way to make sense of that, because it's just that little roof plane that seems awkward. The I think it's going to be somewhat limited visibility of that north facing dormer. I mean, everything's a little bit limited from the street that runs behind this house. Yes, hussy. And the front dormers, I still feel the same. It would just be much more appropriate without dormers. That's all. Thanks.
Okay, Angus, thank you.
I'll go.
All right, Carrie.
I was thinking the exact same thing as Angus about that little back porch area. It's just so convoluted that the simplification that he described is so much better. I think the dormers can be fine, but the alignment on the roof plane are too functional. I think you need to just be formal and get them centered where they should be on the roof plane versus with the windows somehow. I think there are others in town that are more concerned with the roof plane than the windows below. But now, yeah, they're just, I'm sort of like so distracted by the fact that they're not balanced on the roof and with the windows, I guess. I don't know. It's strange. Sorry. Thanks. That's all.
Okay, Carrie, thank you. Val.
I have nothing to add. I appreciate the changes Matt made. And I don't disagree with Carrie. But something needs to move. I don't know it needs to be even on the roof. I think it needs to be over a window down below to make it more appropriate. But and the little fussy thing you described on the side, but that's it.
Thanks. I actually think that you and Carrie were disagreeing on something, and that is, well, Carrie was, and this is where I'm sort of stuck personally. I should know the answer to this, but when we're looking at this in elevation, it seems very rational to have the dormer like right above the front door, you know, in the window above the front door. There's that. But then if you did a symmetry thing, those two dormers would wind up being like very close to each other, which we also don't want. But the fact that they're set back on the roof plane by so much, I think, is in favor of Carrie's point of view, which is like they don't necessarily need to line up with stuff below them. They're going to be seen in a roof plane. And if there's symmetry going on up there, I think that's going to be read. And no one's going to say, oh, well, gosh, that's not directly in line with the front door down below it. Is that something that you could show us in like a perspective? You know, like a perspective, I think would tell a lot.
Yeah, there's, we have the 3D scans. The street view.
And but
Mr.
PS,
Chair?
I agree with, just 1 second. I
Sure.
agree with the whole complexity of the side porch bit that was resolved. Carrie, was that you?
Yeah, I just wanted to say, like, historically, the dormers were put on a roof in an open attic, like not to design around a bedroom or design around a bathroom. So I think that is sort of the impetus of where we're thinking historic dormers, that, you know, they balanced them. And yeah, that's just my point. Sorry, thanks.
Yeah,
Well, if I could,
symmetrical.
about the dormers, so the, in terms of like researching or looking at other dormers, they're definitely not symmetrical. What we did try to do is align them off the center of the front door, the window above it, and then they actually fall between the two sets of windows in the first and second floor as well. And the fact that they're not symmetrical, for what it's worth, and I know this might sound, trite, but I do like the fact that they're not so perfect, and it lends a little bit to the authenticity of what may have happened. The reality is that this is an attic, and we are working around the existing stairs to the attic, which we could probably work around them as well. But to some degree, I almost feel like no matter what we do, because I think we also narrowed them for the board's request, which I think was great. So they're gonna not align with something. So it's
Yeah.
Is it still an attic? I mean, why don't you just not have them?
Oh, well, the
I
goal
mean,
is
that would be authentic.
well, through you, Mr. Chair. So yeah, no, the plan is to use the third floor space. It's a finished, well, it's not a finished space now, but it's actually a lot of usable square footage. The owner is really excited about being up there. So that's why we're trying to get as much light as we can up there, but.
All right. Well, look.
And I think you view this thing obliquely all the time. That's why it wasn't a concern for me that, well, they were aligned with some center lines, and the fact that they weren't equidistant off the gable end wasn't
Just go
an
back
issue.
further.
Yeah.
Maybe it should just be set back and the windows smaller. Maybe they just seem so big.
We could push them back a foot if that's helpful. That'll probably shrink them. But
Much there.
Mr. Chair.
Holly.
Thank you. I just wanted to mention for the board, at the last meeting you asked after my recommendation was for a historic determination. We did receive that application. It'll be up on the next new business agenda. Remember, this is a 1785 an initial construction, typical Nantucket. So obviously it's a historic structure, and having that is important. I also did want to mention about as much as I'm been in the same camp as Angus on and I think even Carrie from the dormers perspective, because really and truly, these dormers to typical Nantuckets have been a more of a contemporary addition from mid-century on. They're not traditional to the typical Nantuckets, but obviously we know over time they've been added. I found this street perspective from NHA from 1880. This is looking from or down India Street. So this is 15, 17, 19, 21, which is tucked down here, and then 23. And I just thought that was pretty cool to look at. You can see, you're to the point of how this perspective is looking the other direction and this is looking that way. It's actually going to be tucked in when you're looking at the dormer. So I just thought that was interesting. I had a question on the addition and the size of it and how it changed a little bit, and how there doesn't seem, which I appreciate, but also there wasn't really clarity on what exactly from that back L is being retained and what is actually being demolished, because we know from the Sanborn maps from 1887 up through 1949 that there has been a two-story L on this historic structure since the beginning. So I wanted to get some clarification, and I do think it would be important to have it a little clearer. I know you do a good job about red line, but if we can know exactly this is the square footage of it now. This is what we're proposing. This is actually what we're demolishing. So that'd be my comment, Mr. Chair. Thank you.
Through you, Mr. Chair, we're happy to do that. And we also could provide some photographs of the interior, that rear L, because it's been,
Okay.
yeah, it's mostly like, I think it's block and poured, but, and that's also a great point that you bring up, Holly, is that the perspective looking the opposite direction, you kind of don't see the dormers, but,
Right.
and then there's a one-way street.
All right, folks, what would we all like to do with this?
Can I please add one thing? I might be outnumbered with the, the idea of there being a dormer on the front of this house anyway, but just typically the dormers would have match the same roof pitch as the house, and these
Oh,
are listed
good
as
point.
12 and the
Mhm.
house is 8, I believe.
Yeah, very good point.
It's a good call. Happy to do that.
I think there have been enough ideas floated around in various, mainly regarding the dormers, but also regarding the porch and everything. Can we see this one more time?
Yeah, if it's
I
gonna
mean,
help, help see it, and it might,
if
it's
we did an
okay.
exhibit A, I think we'd be here for another half hour trying to craft it.
Motion to hold for minor revisions.
Okay, that sounds good. Thank
And
you,
with your
Angus.
permission, Mr. Chair, is it
Yeah.
okay to maybe reach out to Angus to maybe, I think I understand what you're just describing, but it might be helpful to,
The side thing.
yeah.
Oh, yeah.
I was
But
drawing.
I think I get it, and it would simplify everything immensely. So Angus has made a motion to hold for revisions on that motion. Val,
Aye.
Carrie,
Aye.
Joe,
Aye.
Angus,
Aye.
and I'm in favor. Thank you, Matthew.
Thank you all
Now,
very much.
Linda, let's make it snappy so I can get at least one of mine in before we all go away.
This one working?
Yeah. Yeah, I just had a little bit of thought.
What happened to the screen?
The connection between the computer and the screen.
Well, that's great. We have a Concom meeting in here too.
Probably stay.
Yeah. Okay, Linda. Okay, well, let's see here. I'm looking at the board. So Stephen's obviously not here.
Right.
So you have me, Abby, Val, Angus.
Joe,
What?
Joe, I need an alternate.
We can have Joe in there, sure. Okay, hit it.
Okay, we beat this thing to death. Might as well put up option B first. That's the preferable one. It makes more sense. Which one's up there, Holly? I can't see it from here. Option B is usually the second one. Okay. We took out a whole strip of brick and put a regular bluestone walkway, which took that out. So now we're talking, if you can see where the original driveway was, the little dotted line, we're talking about 25 square feet of brick. And all the plantings, you've seen all the pictures, the plantings are in there. They're actually beefier than the original foundation. Angus wanted the plants back on the foundation. The original plants on the foundation were hydrangeas, which look terrible during the winter because they're every 10 feet or every 8 feet. And we planted year-round vegetation now, we can see on the screen, which will stay there year-round. And we planted them right down the whole length, and we planted them right on that corner. And we took all the post caps off. Now, I've also shown you proof on the aerials. We didn't touch that curb cut. That curb cut was laid by the town. It's been
Okay.
there since 1998, so we haven't touched it. So I just want
Okay.
to make that clear. So all the brick, back up, if you want to back up there for a second, all the brick going down from the public sidewalk all the way to that door has been removed, except for the platform on the left going into the backyard, in favor of the 3 feet, 3.5 feet of
Planting?
pathway.
Oh, pathway, yeah.
Yeah, we took all that brick out. We're gonna take it out.
You're gonna take the brick out. Okay, got
Yeah.
it.
So it's back to just in front of the garage doors with a irregular bluestone walkway. And the fence ends right where you see it now, which is right at the walkway. So that little triangle there is 25 square feet of brick.
Okay.
And I'll tell you, when you guys approved the changes to the garage and that door being instituted and some other changes to the doors, Ethan had shown that it was squared out, which is why the person who did the garage and was in charge of the driveway, yeah, the owner had nothing to do with it. And thought that was what the plan was because he was working off of Ethan's construction plans, which I gave you the site plan that came in with the house changes. And it was squared out then. I think it was just habit of his.
Linda, so I want to make sure that I understand and that the rest of the board understands the difference between your proposed option B and option A. Well, here's what I think it is.
It's over on the little left. there's a
Option B, the fence ends before the pavers.
Right at the pavers.
It just
does
plain
now.
old ends.
Yeah, right where it is now.
And then option A, it continues to where the current edge of the curb cut is. That's the black dashed line that sort of angles across.
Then we have to put a gate in.
And then well, A, you put a gate, and B, you continue the fence up to that line.
Let me clarify that for a second. She
Okay.
didn't drew the drawing correctly.
He did
currently-
not
the
draw.
the previous gate, the previous fence actually ended at the telephone pole, didn't go all the way over.
Okay,
There was some patch of something there.
all right. So do we all understand the difference between A and? No.
That's the only difference?
It's hard to see the line.
That's right.
It makes no sense to keep going with it.
That ends, end of fence right there.
Where the picture is.
Okay.
And then the second one, you have, the fence goes all the way to there, which is where the current curb cut is.
But it didn't do that to begin with.
Fenced off. Okay,
Is the, can I ask a question?
yeah.
So Linda, if the picket fence goes all the way to the old curb cut, the gate is right opposite those stepping stones? And
Yes.
okay.
Now, just to
Yes.
clarify again, the original fence did not go all the way to the curb cut. It stopped at the telephone pole, which is about 2 or 3 feet before you get to the curb cut.
Okay, all right.
And she
Fair
didn't,
enough.
she didn't realize that until I pointed it out.
All right. So there it is. Hopefully everyone understands. If not, let me know, but what are our opinions?
Mr. Chair,
Yes.
if I may.
Mm.
So you all remember you did review this after this was a violation.
Oh,
And you all did approve it through staff for it to go back to the way it was in 2009. I think that's important to note because the application before you is to revise that approval. Well, that approval, the staff approval that was submitted, I couldn't approve it. It didn't meet your qualifications or
Right.
your specifications.
yep.
So they were aware of that and hence the revision. So regardless on what the commission decides, as far as any approvals go, I do think it's important to note, with any approval, that a finding, is indicated with your approval, that is consistent with your, last approval's intent. So basically saying that this new COA is going to supersede the last COA, even though it was technically not issued.
Oh,
I think that's important. And then also to note that whatever the commission decides, that COA needs to be submitted to DPW for final approval.
Yeah.
oh, right.
There's no select board involvement. There's no parking on that side of the street. So it's just the DPW once it's approved.
Okay, fair enough. What I would really like to hear though is the board's opinions of A versus B. Myself, Abby, I already said the board, so y'all know who you are.
Corrected A, not the one that's on the screen, pulled it back to the telephone pole.
What?
This fence has to be pulled back to the original fence, which is the telephone pole, not the curb cut. I just want to make sure that, because the drawing is incorrect at that point.
I'm happy to go first.
Go ahead, Angus.
So I have a picture that Holly provided of the old fence that is in line with the curb cut.
Yeah.
And so we didn't approve anything, any change from that, as far as I know. And so my concern is just the overall, width, and amount of brick in this space. And so I would want the fence to return to its original location, type 2 fence, no caps, that is showing where it is, and actually in the site plan, it looks like, where it goes up to the curb cut, basically. And the green space is restored in that triangle. What happens further back towards the garage and all of that is not as important to me as the immediate streetscape. Thank you.
Thank you, Angus. Who's next?
I can go.
Okay.
Um, so, so I come down Westminster a lot and look at this sort of sea of brick. So I agree with Angus about anything we can do to mitigate that, all that brick. And I guess, so one would be the picket fence and two, more greenery. So those are my thoughts. Thanks.
Abby, that one from Westminster is not our property. That's the one next door to us with all that brick, which is twice as much brick as we
Hang
have.
on.
That's not us.
Okay. Abby, thank you. Let's see, who's next? We got Val and we got Joe.
I have a quick question to the
Yes,
applicant.
Joe, go ahead.
Is there a plan to change the curb cut or apply for a curb cut widening, or is the plan to just leave the curb cut as is?
The way the curb cut's been for 50 years, we're not touching it.
Okay.
Do you want to continue?
Sure. Well, I can appreciate the fence going to where it went originally, and based on the photograph, it looks like it does align with the curb cut. But it certainly, as we're looking at the screen, it doesn't look appropriate when it goes past the brick of the driveway. I'm not sure how far that is. It looks like it might be about 5 feet. So setting aside the history, if I were to pick between option A or B to me is the logical one. And I understand there's a history here of a driveway. It looks like that had a little bit of a taper, and it had much deeper vegetation, and more of an organic brick pattern. But I don't know. I don't find the rectangular brick area with the bluestone. I don't find that egregious. I mean, maybe, or inappropriate. I mean, maybe if there was a foot of green space between the bluestone path and the driveway, like a row of boxwoods or something that was along there to soften that up as it goes to the garage. That might help. I don't feel like it has to literally follow the angle that was there. Does the curb cut seem odd that it's narrower than the driveway? It does.
No, there's a lot on Main Street like that, and a lot even around here like that.
Yeah. So I definitely don't think the fence should run past brick. I think the fence should terminate where you've got it terminated in this option B. And I could see adding a layer of greenery on the other side of this path.
There's no room. We tried.
Yeah. I mean, I might be in the minority, and I know it's the first time I've sat on it, but I've listened to all the discussions. I'm okay with option B.
Okay. Joe, thanks. So Option B.
There's a tiny little B on the left, Val. It's hard to see it.
Yeah, see it.
Option B is the one that we just described where
It
The
ends where it
fence
is.
doesn't go past.
the
Ends
fence
where it is
doesn't go
now.
past the new stone walkway ends before it. So. Right, so let's go
There's a
back.
picture of it, Val, where it
This
ends
is
now.
gonna be a stone.
Linda, there's
Look,
85,000 pictures here.
One with all the foliage.
And the fence would
Then
end,
going
well,
into
essentially in
the
line with
brick.
the vegetation.
That looks ridiculous.
That's option,
No,
Yeah.
yeah.
no. That vegetation is staying and then there's gonna be
Yeah,
stones.
yes.
And the fence is gonna come over past that. So there's a gate.
That's option A.
B ends right where it is right now with all the foliage.
Yeah.
B is right here and A is there. That's the difference between the two.
This is option A right here. No, this is actually option B, but you gotta trust me. Louise.
Big plans that agree.
So they're backwards.
We don't look at the big plans anymore.
Hold on. This is A.
It's A
Option
with
A.
green, but you
That's
can't
what
look
that's
at
continued,
A
so that's what you were
and
just
not get green.
And the
Option
pole's not
B,
here anymore.
Option
Pole's
B.
still there.
Option B, the fence, no gate.
She's not gonna
fence
show that.
ends
That's outside the
right
property
there
lines.
At that little point. See that? But can I think I might jump ahead because I'm seeing what might be like, I'm glad, Holly, that you provided a photograph of where the telephone pole is. Because if it weren't option A, that brings the fence all the way over to where the curb cut is, you're gonna have a sea of brick with a telephone pole, like
Yeah.
just floating in the middle of it, and nothing to ground the telephone pole, which, you know, I guess occurs, but it would be so much better and provide closure if the fence went up to where the curb cut is and you had a proper gate. That does a number of things. The fence is going to mitigate the amount of brick.
25
everyone's
square
looking
feet.
at, and it's also going to ground the telephone pole that clearly is not going anywhere. It's going to be just like sitting there, floating. So
I think that's an
two.
excellent point.
And it,
Well, Joe, you didn't have the benefit of seeing the photograph that Holly provided. And once I saw it, I said, okay, there's one option, one viable option here. Anyway,
so that's option A
Yes.
with added vegetation and having the brick go to the, having the picket fence go to the curb cut.
Where am I adding vegetation?
No, that's the
No.
opposite.
Can I try a motion?
yeah, go ahead.
Okay, so
Shut mine. Oh,
this is an
Sorry.
as-built, right? So what okay, so my motion would be to restore the fence as we see it in the photograph.
Yep.
And have a gate if the path is desired to go to the new front door to the left of the garage doors. And to restore the triangle of green to make sense of the fence going out into the field of brick. In that triangle as it's shown in Plan A.
So I'm sure that motion is going to go.
Is that?
So we're taking up, let me be clear, we're taking up 25 square feet of
Yeah,
brick.
taking up 25 square feet of
That's
brick.
not-
But Linda,
So right here,
Linda, yeah, it's basically filling in that little, this. That's gonna be revegetated.
So we're restoring the angle.
Yeah, that's Angus's motion.
Uh,
And, you know, I do want to kind of move this along, so. Angus's motion, is everyone clear on what it is?
Can I have
Okay,
a
it's
question? Can
essentially
I
option
just ask a
A.
question about the motion?
Yes, Joe, go.
Does it include the path?
Yes.
Yeah,
The
okay.
path stays, the only difference between option A and its pure unrefined state and Angus's compromised state is that we're filling in the triangle with vegetation as opposed to brick. That's
to be the whole triangle. Why can't it just be behind the fence and leave?
well, here, I think we have a motion on the
Okay.
table. If she wants to,
Okay.
if she wants to parse it, I think we'll look at another application, but
I don't want to come back for 5 square feet. If we can figure it out now, an option and draw it on there.
Well, Angus has a motion on the table, and frankly, I think the motion is a good one, so I'm gonna run with it. So Angus's motion is to essentially adopt option A with the triangle that is now brick filled, revegetated.
That's not happening.
So on that motion, Joe?
I'm an aye. I think the telephone pole is a mitigating factor.
Yeah, that did a lot for me. Thank you, Val.
Okay, I.
Okay, Abby.
Aye.
Okay, Angus.
Aye.
And I'm in favor. Okay, Linda, and if they want to, do some variation on that,
They will.
feel free, but like, that's where we are. At least you have an approval for something.
Can we fit in Trotz Hill?
Here's my promise to you. If we can, I'm just gonna do the house, and we can make it really quick.
I mean, you
Okay.
can't see anything from the road.
Okay, so we'll move to the new dwelling at 12 Trotz Hill Road, and the board will be myself, Abby Camp, Val Oliver, Connie Patton, and Joe Paul.
Oh, was Stephen on this before?
He was.
Yeah, but
Okay,
not,
got it.
Was the last one an exhibit A? Should we do?
It's an exhibit. It should be an exhibit A that was her A option plus
Yeah.
the revegetation of the triangle, which is a very easy exhibit A. It's an A plus.
Okay.
Ray, do you want to go ahead and present?
Sure. So I think the main issue for you folks last time on this application was the fact that the trim was white. And I discussed it with Lisa, and of course they want white paint. So for those of you that have been down Trotz Hill, like, not only do you don't see any white, you don't see any buildings.
Right.
End of story. So we have all kinds of photos of other streets in the neighborhood that have white trim. I'm sure that you're all well aware of them. So what we tried to do was A, vegetate between Trotz Hill and the house, and B, supplement the existing vegetation, and B, to kind of fine tune the trim package such that the white was minimized. We reduced the size of the rakes and got rid of corner boards, the usual stuff that we're doing when white comes up as being an issue. Oh, and the roof walk, I think you all agreed, and I certainly agreed, that should all be natural. And we also made it smaller. So that's kind of where we are. Thank you.
Thank you, Ray. Are there any questions from the board? Comments?
I could have put it on consent. I just didn't because it's a whole house. I think the changes are favorable. And I can tell you from going down that road, you can't see anything. I concur with Ray, so I'd be in favor of approving this.
Thank you for that. Who's next?
I can go.
Uh,
No concerns.
Thanks, Connie. Okay. So that leaves you, Joe.
Well, I'm opposed. No, I love a shed dormer on a gambrel with no corner boards. And I have no concerns. Thank you.
Yeah, I think this is a very appropriate house. To Ray's point, there really are like two houses that are very screened, slightly visible, maybe smaller scale, and a minimum of white. So I appreciate the color change. My concern is just the closeness to the road. I think it would be probably the closest building to the road. And the east elevation, I think it is, whatever spacing the road, is the eave side of the gambrel. So I think that helps mitigate it. I don't, yeah.
I have a thought on. The thought is, when I look at the site plan, we've kept the area wells on the west side away from the setback, which isn't really a requirement. The building inspector allows this to cross the setback. So the building could scooch a little bit further west, but probably 4 feet or so, if that makes any difference. Just from further away from the road.
I appreciate the offer. I don't think 5 or 10 feet is going to make the difference. I think the main difference is going to be the screening along Trotz Hill, like all the other screening that's going along
Agreed.
Trotz Hill. I think the key is just to have that be as thick, and maybe scoot the driveway a little further south, so that there isn't as much of a view. I'm not sure. If it goes south, you might see more of the
South, I
front.
think what's gonna happen is you're gonna get more of a direct view.
Yeah, yeah, maybe this is hit the right balance, or if, I don't know, just vegetation to sort of, well, the road, it's just such a, it's like a country lane, and it's just all greens, and you don't really, houses don't play a role on it.
Right.
Okay, what's the will of the board?
Think that maybe, motion to approve with added vegetation, along Trot
We,
Hill Lane.
we certainly, it's one of these mutual benefit things, like they don't want to see traffic going by, so we'll be vegetating.
Yeah.
Yes.
And the color change is already in the revisions.
So it wasn't a color change. That was interesting that you said that. So it's still white, but we've changed, like we've gotten rid of the
Corner boards and stuff.
corner boards, and then there was the sort of, the gambrel was articulated with sort of like a base of a pediment. We got rid of that. We pared down the amount of white. That's what we did.
Oh, this was making it so much more palatable with the idea of this being gray.
But everything else is white.
Well, no, if you've gone down the street, the
did.
only thing that's white is someone's sash. Everything else is natural trim. The houses that you see there are like other streets, where it's not uncommon to see white trim pretty much everywhere on the island.
Oh, these right here are pictures of the other houses that are on different streets in the neighborhood. By the way, that's the house, the Gambrel house that Lisa and I did, where we got rid of corner boards and that little pediment piece that sometimes articulates the Gambrel. So we were trying to minimize the amount of white that was in the package.
I think for me, going to a Nantucket gray or some other kind of thing for the trim that there is, would be a slam dunk. But what about the other commissioners?
I think the fact that we'll call it the water table at the second floor was all that trim was removed so that horizontal datum line is no longer painted white, especially on this side facing elevation, on the east elevation. At the rear you see it at the porch, and the front you see it at the porch, but facing the road you've only got, it's really just the windows, and you've got corner boards, I guess, on the first floor. It
Sounds like you're pulling for white, Joe.
I'm not pulling for white, but I don't think it's going to be overwhelming. I'd motion to approve this as submitted.
Anything about the vegetation?
Yeah, I already wrote that.
Yeah. With screening along Trotz Lane.
Oh, Abby's
don't-
saying, I already made a motion. It's already
Oh,
written
she
on the
did?
application.
Oh, okay, I'm sorry.
The added vegetation along Trot's Road.
Then I support your motion.
Hilltop.
On Abby's motion, Joe,
Aye.
Val,
I,
Connie,
I,
on your motion.
Aye.
Abby. Oh, God. I know.
get a drone shot.
They're all white out there. All right.
No.
Aye, carries unanimously. Well done. We still have 5 minutes left. You want to go ahead and knock it out?
It's a little
yeah, we never
cute
opened it.
gambrel. So if you take the corner boards off this, I could make a motion to make it
Okay.
simplify like the main house. That's because you didn't have a chance
So
to.
did we not submit any revisions?
No,
We
it
never
was
did
just a
that.
track.
We'll obviously be happy, not just happy, but we want the two to be look the same.
Right.
So the same palette of like trim or not trim.
Right.
Cottage corners and all that would apply.
Yes.
Okay, make a motion.
Motion to approve with the same revisions you've made to the main house, simplifying the trim package and going to cottage corners and things like that. So it matches the main house.
On your motion?
Aye.
Joe,
Aye.
Connie,
I,
Abby,
Aye.
I'm an I as well. And there you have it with time to spare.
Yahoo.
So
Sana, did you have
Thank you.
something else?
Well,
Oh,
stay off tomorrow, I'll give it to you. I just, my client wants me to take a quick photo, whatever, great.
So we got through the whole agenda, didn't we?
Yeah,
We did the whole thing.
Yeah, wow. Okay, that's pretty good.
yeah, that's great.
That is great. Thanks, everyone. Do we need any minutes? No minutes. Okay. So happy 4th, everyone, and
Yeah.
I guess
Yes,
she was, yeah.
I was on. Yes.
Safe and fun.
Okay,
food.
so I guess we can invoke the spirit of Mr. McLaughlin for our
Motion to adjourn.
break. On John's motion, let's see, Abby,
Aye.
Val,
Aye.
Connie, John.
Aye.
You know I'm, and I'm in favor. Thanks, everyone.
Good night.
Good night.
Night, night. Bye, Joe.